Sports Star, San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, how about those Indiana Pacers? They steal game one. They erased a 15-point lead again. Fifth time they have done this postseason. They take game one in OKC. Game two is Sunday night at 7 o'clock. It's a game you can catch in your home for the NBA Finals. 94-1 San Antonio Sports Star beginning at 6 o'clock with the pregame show. And 8 days after falling in their third straight Western Conference final, the Dallas Stars fired their head coach.
SportsCenter brought to you by Synergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Happy Friday, everybody. We made it. It's Friday. It's Friday. Pretty happy about that. And, this Friday seems to be a little brighter than a lot of Fridays today because, Thursday night was a very good night. Very good night. And I've already got some folks on our YouTube page that remember that Sam says Joe made some money last night. Pete Estrada said you called it yesterday. Pacers take game one. It feels so good. That was a great ball game, by the way. At least the fourth quarter was, that's for sure. Hi, everybody. This is The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix is off today. He is not here. So we're going to continue on. James Pledger is here, though, punching the buttons in the glass box of fun. And we got a lot to talk about today. Believe it or not, on this Friday, a happy Friday, a festive Friday, a joyous Friday. We got a lot to talk about, lots to get into today for sure. We're going to talk all about what happened last night because I can't wait to do that. And I got to tell you, last night we have a group chat here at San Antonio Sports Star that goes to me and Jason and Pledge and AJ and Rob. And last night when Tyrese Halliburton hit the game-winning shot, I got on our app and I said, how about those Pacers? And Minix fires back with a wow. And then old AJ said, the Pacers suck. Something to that effect. Should I quote him directly, Pledge? What do you think? Let me quote him directly.
Absolutely.
It's exactly what he said. And I'm a little bit waiting for the challenge to be accepted. And I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about as I get into our group chat here. He goes, I said, the Pacers are tough. And he goes, LOL, they suck. Thunder in 5. So I just sent it back. Ha, 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 ha. I'll take that bet. It was crickets. Until he fired back at this. He said, also maybe bitter because I lost a good chunk of cash tonight. And he says, at least I hit the under, saves my day. And I said, I hit both. I'm sure that made him feel better to know that, his good buddy Joe.
Well, you hit all three, actually.
Exactly. Exactly. It's exactly what I did.
Because you took him a 9.5, then
And
10.5.
Well, 10.
10.
Yeah.
And then the under.
I bet it early, and it was 9.5, and then I went. It changed to 10, which meant everybody was taking OKC last night, and so I went ahead and took it again at 10. Just added to my bet, basically. So I'm feeling pretty good about this thing as it goes, and knew it was gonna stay under. I felt pretty certain about that because it was 230, so it was never really in danger of missing that. And I felt they're going to cover the spread. They're probably not going to win the game, but they're going to cover the spread. So when Halliburton hits that shot, I'm home alone last night watching the game, and I'd had a couple of beers, and it's just me and the dogs. And when he hit that shot, man, I stood up and just went, woo! Just got all excited. My poor dogs were running. They were scared to death. They didn't know what the hell was going on. Those poor guys. But it was one of those games that's exciting, and Indiana is still not getting any respect, and it really baffles me as to why they're not getting any respect because that team is they're just like a gnat flying around, bugging the hell out of you and just pissing you off. And I love it. I love it. So the Indiana Pacers steal game one. We're going to get into that, and we'll hear from some of the participants when it comes to that. But I mentioned that Jason Minix is not here, and I have to tell you what happened just a few minutes ago in the office. I'm sitting there getting ready for the show, just going over some notes and doing some stuff, and all of a sudden, Iris walks into the office, and she says, "Oh, hi." And she goes and sets something down, and she said, "This is for Jason." I said, "Okay, no problem." And Iris is one of the nicest people you ever meet. I mean, she is just really nice. If you ever come to the radio station, she'll be the first person you see when you walk through the front door. And she's great. Very nice, just a really nice person. I really like her. So anyway, whatever. So she sends Jason an email to let him know that from the Monkees fan club, his signed Mickey Dolenz picture has arrived. Now, I don't know how many out there remember the Monkees. The Monkees were a band back in the, 70s?
60s, 70s?
70s?
They were basically knockoff of the Beatles. Hey, we're the Monkees.
Right.
People say we monkey around.
That's it. Now, their lead singer was a guy by the name of Davy Jones, who all the girls were in love with at that time.
Didn't he break off and do the Partridge Family, or is that
Nah, he didn't do the Partridge. That was David Cassidy. But Davy,
some kind of Davy.
Yeah, Davy Jones was he was an English guy. Davy was. But Mickey Dolenz was the drummer. He was the drummer for the Monkees, and so I said, "Oh, Minnix, you're a member of the Monkees fan club. How sweet is that? That you got an autographed picture from Mickey Dolenz. That is so sweet." And of course, he fires back and says, "Who?" And I'm going, "Come on, dude. It's okay. We all know you have a soft side. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay." And I wanted to open that thing, but I won't do that. It's addressed to Jason Minnix, and I think it says "with love" to Jason Minnix. I don't know. I didn't read it that close, but I think it says something like that.
To my number one super fan.
My number one fan, something to that effect. And I just like, who knew? Now, I know Jason's into concerts and live music, and Metallica is his favorite band and all of that, but the Monkees? I wouldn't have thought that Jason was a Monkees fan. That really...
You think he had it playing while he was doing his ribs this afternoon?
I don't know. But I just, with all the things I didn't have on my baseball card or bingo card was the fact that Jason Minnix is a big Monkees fan and obviously a big Mickey Dolenz fan, and he's got a signed picture. Now, I hope he displays that proudly here in the studio at some point in time when he comes back. He'll be back on Monday. And that's when he'll open his signed Mickey Dolenz picture. That's it. We dedicate this song to Jason Minnix. Oh, my goodness. Jason's probably sitting in a corner crying, hearing that song. I love it. It's funny. So I can't wait till Monday, till he gets back, and we'll have him open his signed picture of Mickey Dolenz, and he can display it proudly here in the studio. I can't wait for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But who knew? So if you know Jason, text him and tell him. I mean, who knew? And if you're a Monkees fan, then you can be in the fan club too. And I won't lie. When I was a kid, I was a Monkees fan. I like the Monkees. They were good. I just hadn't thought about the Monkees in a long time.
Great value Beatles.
I just hadn't thought about them in a long time, and who knew? A Metallica guy is also a Monkees guy. That's pretty cool. Well, good for you, Jason. I'm proud of you. Just not to be ashamed of anything. That's good.
You think he gets bummed when he goes to the zoo to see the Monkees exhibit?
I don't know. I don't know. But
and it's not the Monkees?
He may have that TV, the old TV land stuff going where they show the old Monkees. They had a show, a sitcom, I guess you could say, back in the day. Gilbert P. says that on our YouTube page, that the Monkees had a TV show. They did. And I know one of them was from San Antonio, and I'm not sure which one it was. Now, Fred Villarreal on our YouTube page says Michael Neesmith, who passed away recently, was from San Antonio. Now, I'm not sure who he was, Fred. Was he the bass guy or the guitar guy? Because they had a bass player, a guitar player, a drummer, which was Mickey Dolenz, and then Davy Jones was the singer. So I'm not sure which is which, but I knew one of them was from San Antonio. So now Thomas Castillo on our YouTube page, and I have no way of knowing this, says that Michael Neesmith's mother invented Post-it, those Post-it notes. So if that's true, that's cool.
Wow.
How about that?
Michael Neesmith was all over Texas.
Is that right?
Born in Houston, went to school in Dallas at Thomas Jefferson High. Enlisted in the Air Force, was at basic training at Lackland here in San Antonio.
Wow.
Did Shepherds up at Wichita Falls. He was all over the state.
Okay, now I remember this as I'm reading some of the comments on our YouTube page. He was the tallest, I think, of the Monkees, and he always wore a knit cap, right? He always had the knit hat on.
I love the knit cap.
Yeah, he always had that on. So I remember who that guy is. But unfortunately, that's not the autograph that Jason got today. He got an autographed picture of Mickey Dolenz. So congratulations to Jason Minix, and I can't wait to see that and see it displayed proudly here in the San Antonio Sports Star studio. That's going to be a lot of fun. I tell you, folks on our YouTube page know a lot about this guy. He attended SAC apparently for a little bit. I don't know. I'm taking all of your word for it because I have no clue. So I'm just going to take your word for it, and we'll go from there. But congratulate Minix on his signed picture of Mickey Dolenz the next time you see him. I'm sure he'll and he may cry when you say that because it means a lot to him, I'm sure. But just say congratulations to old Jason because he got the signed picture of Mickey Dolenz. We're so happy you're here today. No kidding, man. It is a Friday, and we're very happy that you are here to spend part of your Friday with us. We got a lot to get into, that's for sure. If you want to get into it with us, you can do that. Many ways to do that. You can go to our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. A lot of folks are there already. Go in there, like and subscribe to our YouTube page. We would appreciate that. You can comment just like the other folks are there as well. You can get a hold of me on Twitter at JoeReinagle210. You can comment there and send me messages, or you can do it the old-fashioned way. You can give us a call here at 656-3776, 656-ESPN. Any way you want to comment, you can do that. Pacers shocked the world last night, and it cost at least one of the hosts here at San Antonio Sports Star a lot of money. And then it made another host a pretty good chunk of change as well. Even bought Pledge lunch today because I told him I would if I won the bet last night, so I followed through and took care of that. So we did that. We'll talk a lot of Pacers. We'll hear from some Pacers and see what the OKC Thunder types are going to do to try and win game number 2. We'll do all of that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Well, stealing my lucky charms.
Eczema flaring up again. We have good news. Ectoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Ectoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Ectoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Ectoderm Flare Control Cream. Ectoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Father's Day kicks off early, Saturday, June 14th at Lion and Rose Dominion, hosted by Marissa Gomez, realtor with Real Broker. If you know a dad who deserves some extra love, bring him out for family fun, live music, and delicious food and drinks. Enjoy free experiences like cigar rolling, mini spa treatments, and prize drawings. There's always something special happening at Lion and Rose. It's Saturday, June 14th from 3 to 7 p.m. for the Father's Day kickoff at Lion and Rose, just off I-10 West past the Dominion exit.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. This Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening this Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour. at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe.
We have to start this segment with a correction, okay? Because we're talking about the Monkees in segment one, if you're just joining us, because Jason Minnick's got his signed picture of Mickey Dolenz, the drummer of the Monkees. It was delivered here to the office today. So we were talking about that, and one of the guys is actually from San Antonio. And I don't know if I'm saying his name right. It's Michael Nesmith is how, I think how you pronounce that. But he's from San Antonio, and it was mentioned on our YouTube page that his mother invented Post-it. Well, that's incorrect, as we heard from our good friend Don Harris. He says his mom actually invented liquid paper, not Post-it. So liquid paper, you remember liquid paper that when you were typing on a manual typewriter, you get this little white stuff on a brush that you could brush that out and type or write or whatever you want to do.
You could do it with writing before we had erasable pen.
Well, that too, but it was. I think it was designed first for typewriters, because if you make a mistake on a typewriter, you just kind of blot that out and start over.
That was always so difficult though, because if you messed up and you blotted it out and you went to go rewrite over it, you had to align it just right to make it right in the right spot. And it always kind of was wonky and off a little bit where you fixed.
Well, that's why I'm glad, Pledge, that technology is such we don't have to mess with that anymore. Although I will say, in the back room of the Kins 5 studios, we still have Dan Cook's old typewriter sitting in there. So,
check it. There's probably a nice bottle of bourbon hiding somewhere inside it.
I would not be surprised, my friend. I would not be surprised. That was good times, good times. So set the record straight. We thank our good friend Don Harris for that, and we'll move on to the NBA Finals because Well, the ending of the NBA Finals was fantastic.
It is rebounded by Indiana. 8 seconds on the clock. They're down 1. They have timeouts, but they're going to play it. Here's Halliburton driving, lifting, shot up, good! With 0.3 of a second to go. Halliburton does it again. How does he do it? Tyrese Halliburton with another shot to bring Indiana from way back. They've got the lead here in Game 1.
Unbelievable finish to that game last night, and especially the way that game began. I mean, Oklahoma City dominated in the first half. Indiana's throwing the ball all over the place, turning it over 19 times, and they just could never pull away from the Pacers. They could not get that knockout punch. They would keep them at arm's length. It was, 13, 15, 11. It would go back and forth, but the Thunder could just never put them away. And that was a problem, and it just stayed that way the entire game. And, hey, I'm going to say this. The Pacers outplayed Oklahoma City in the second half. They did. They outplayed them in the second half. And I'm telling you, I don't know why this team is not getting the respect that it deserves. They've done this. This is the 5th time in this postseason that they have erased a 15-point deficit to come back and win. And I just don't understand because I go to the gym this morning and it's, whatever. Oklahoma, lucky shot by Halliburton. That's not going to mean anything. A.J. Hoffman, Oklahoma City will win in 5. And they're getting no respect, none whatsoever. And I just don't understand it. This is a good basketball team. And what's good about them is they play as a team. Last night, perfect example. They had 6 guys in triple-digit scoring last night, and they were efficient with the basketball, especially in the second half. Obviously, the turnovers were a problem in the first half, but they corrected that in the second half, and they just seemed to rattle Oklahoma City in that second half. SGA, this guy took 30 shots last night and scored 38 points. 30 shots! Now, there were 3 other guys that scored in double figures for them. Jalen Williams had 17, Lou Dort had 15, and Alex Caruso finished with 11. But I tell you what, just the clutch shots that the Indiana Pacers make. And again, SGA had a chance to make that a 3-point game before the heroics of Halliburton and couldn't do it. He missed a little bunny. That's about an 8-foot jump shot, a shot that he normally is automatic with. And he missed that shot. And that set up the heroics for Tyrese Halliburton again to go down and knock down the game-winning shot. And and the Indiana Pacers now, my gosh, what do you say about them? I just don't see how you can't give this team some respect. And Oklahoma City knows they're in for a fight. Now, Oklahoma City might very well go on and win this series, but as we were talking yesterday, I certainly didn't think it's going to be an easy series, and now I think Oklahoma City knows that it's not going to be an easy series. Indiana's just too deep. They've got players all over the place. Now, Oklahoma City is deep as well, but man, people thinking this was just going to be a knock. I had somebody tell me yesterday, this is just going to be like the Spurs when they beat the Cavaliers. Back in, when was that, 2007? And, they're going to sweep them. It's not even going to be an issue. Well, it's certainly not going to be a sweep. That's for sure. And I'm just impressed. Now, I have no dog in the hunt. I really don't care other than who I happen to bet on that particular day. And that's really all that matters. But I'm kind of becoming a Pacers fan, at least for this series. I really am. I would like to see them win this championship. And it just baffles me that people aren't giving them respect that they deserve. But Tyrese Halliburton was asked last night after the game, what is it about the resilience of this team?
Through the course of the game, it kept getting, it felt like it could get ugly. Who knows where this game is heading. I thought we did a great job of just walking them down. When it gets to 15, you can panic, or you can talk about how do we get it to 10, how do we get it to 5, and from there. So, I think all series, that's what we've preached as a group is, when we get down big, let's just find a way to incrementally get it down. And it was at 15, and we got it to 8 pretty fast, and that gave us confidence. Kept getting stops, kept Miles and Andrew made big play after big play down the stretch. Miles got a wide open look on the wing, missed that one, but we just stuck with it. Andrew was huge down the stretch, and we got a big stop there, and they got a lot of confidence in me to make that shot. So I don't know what you say about it. I just know that this group is a resilient group, and we don't give up till it's 0.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and they've proven that over and over and over again 5 times in this postseason. Not all-time postseason, in this one. They've come back from 15 down, and to me, that's just incredible. Unbelievably incredible. Pascal Siakam, I love saying that, Siakam, I feel like I'm drunk. Pascal Siakam, or like
Siakam, Joe.
Harry Carey, Pascal Siakam.
Siakam, Joe.
He talked after the game, and, well, he explained how the Pacers stayed in the game despite all the turnovers.
I mean, obviously, I think when you turn the ball that much, you expect to be down 20+. So the fact that we were still in the game, just for us, is just, again, we know that if we keep it within distance, continue to play, stick to the game plan, and take care of the turnovers, which is hard against a team like that, especially with the pace we play with. So we gotta do so much better. Like we know in here where we need to be in terms of just offense and some of the things that we need to do and how we want to play. So we got a lot of work to do. We got to get back and get better.
Yeah, well, that's what they did. I tell you what, and they do need to play better, obviously. And give a little credit to Rick Carlisle. And this guy, you talk about an underrated head coach. In so many ways. This guy's good. And they made the adjustments at halftime and came out and outplayed Oklahoma City in the second half. They simply did. They outplayed them in the second half. Now, SGA, obviously there's no panic in Oklahoma City. They're not going to panic. They're too good. And I will tell you, the defense that team plays, especially in that first half, when Indiana turns the ball over 19 times, 90% of that was because of the swarming defense that Oklahoma City plays. They're good. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be back. I don't think there's any question about it. So there's no panic from SGA.
The series isn't 1-1. It's 1-4. So we have 4 more games to get. They have 3. And that's just where we are. We got to understand that. And we got to get to 4 before they get to 3 if we want to win the NBA championship. And it's that simple. It's not rocket science. We lost game 1. We have to be better.
Lost game 1, and, well, they got to be better. So, and they do. They've got to be better. But what I love about the Indiana Pacers is they're like Rocky. And they're like last night. They're getting the hell beat out of them and just getting punched and punched and punched. They just keep coming. They just keep coming. There's no quit in them. They just keep coming, despite the fact that you're taking body blow and headshots and everything else. And it's just amazing to watch that basketball team. Now, the head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, Mark Daigneault, said you can't let this loss, as disappointing as it is, carry over to Game 2.
Well, there's a lot more games left in the series, so we understand that. We got to get ourselves to 0, as we always do. That's a habit that hopefully we've formed. These guys have made a habit of being able to get ourselves centered and play our best game in the next game. So you got to tip your hat to them. They got us tonight. They played really well. They deserve to win, but we got to learn from it. We got to improve like we would if we had won the game and get ourselves ready for Game 2. It's really what it comes down to.
And I don't know about y'all, and I understand why the NBA does this, but Game 2's not until Sunday night. I mean, it's just nuts. And then Game 3 won't be till Wednesday. And so they drag this thing out, and I get it. I do. I get it. It's made for TV. Most people are home on Sunday night. You're going to have a bigger audience and all of that kind of stuff, and I get it. And a lot of that could be ABC, too, just wanting it that way. But it is it's just having to wait is going to be a pain in the butt, isn't it? Pain in the butt. So,
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the butt. But the one thing I do take away from that game, that I took away more than anything, was I don't know if that's a formula that Indiana can repeat. You can't fall down as big as they did.
No.
Expect to crawl out of that hole multiple times on the road in a hostile environment, and your best player be held to 14 points and still win the game and turn the ball over that much.
Well, turning the ball over that much is one thing, but when you look at the box score, I mean, they're not a one-man show. That's the thing. If Halliburton's not playing all that well, fine. You know, they've got Siakam. They've got Nesmith. They've got Miles Turner. Nimhard played well. I mean, they've got players. The Obi Toppin, after a horrendous first quarter for that guy, it was awful. I mean, he looked like he never played basketball before in his life, and then all of a sudden was making 3 after 3. I mean, the guy was impressive. So, look, the Pacers are deep, and they've got guys that can score the basketball. Last night, it's like SGA thought he had to do it all. And, I mean, the man took 30 shots last night, hit 14 of them, scores 38 points. You look at that, just looking at 38 points, wow, SGA, that guy was great. Took him 30 shots to do that.
And didn't get the calls either because he only went to the line 8 times. And on top of that, missed some crucial ones down the stretch that allowed the Pacers to come back.
Well, especially that last one. I mean, that one, you make it a 3-point game there. It makes things a lot tougher, obviously, than it's just a 2-point game or a 1-point game at that time. So that was the difference, and he's got to make those shots. And, look, he's going to make them 9 times out of 10. I don't think there's any question. This is not we're not disrespecting SGA by any stretch. But I think he thought he had to take the whole game because, look, Chet Holmgren was awful last night. Awful last night. And if you're, I don't know, big man to big man, that rivalry with Wemby and Holmgren, I kind of smiled at that. I won't lie to you. You know,
he was bad.
He was horrible. But I think Miles Turner had a lot to do with that. I think Miles Turner just was too much for Chet Holmgren last night, and it caused him to have a poor game. But they've got to get some points and some offense from somebody other than SGA. And you know, Lou Dort made a few threes that were key, and I know Jalen Williams. He played okay, although his shooting percentage was not all that great. Isaiah Hartenstein. For him to only play 17 minutes last night is kind of baffling. I think that guy's got to have more minutes.
Yeah, especially if, and that's the adjustment you have to make, if Chet's struggling the way he was, you have to supplement with more of Isaiah Hartenstein because, look, he plays the similar game of T.J. McConnell for Indiana.
Yeah.
They are effort guys. They're going to give you everything they've got while they're on the court, and a lot of that can't be sustained for long, long periods of time, which is why they are who they are in the roles that they're in. But if Chet's struggling the way he is, you may need more from Isaiah Hartenstein.
I don't think there's any question about it. You're going to have to, and I think we will see more of him coming up in Game 2. And then there's Alex Caruso. You talk about guys, and I look at Oklahoma City, and I look at Indiana, and I see remnants of the Spurs during their championship runs. They had guys like Alex Caruso, like Isaiah Hartenstein, like Lou Dort, who were guys that just made plays when it counted. And I love that because just the up and down, the Indiana Pacers lineup, the Oklahoma City Thunder lineup, you look at it up and down, and it reminds me of a lot of the championship teams that we had here between, 1999 and 2014. And because that's what Pop did. That's what the Spurs did. They had their big three, and they put pieces around those big three. That's what they did, and I wish they would go back and do that again. And if you don't believe me, we're going to go over it in the next segment. I'm going to show you exactly how the Pacers were built and how the Oklahoma City Thunder were built, and it is a blueprint for how the San Antonio Spurs should be put together. We'll talk about that when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, 2 games into the NBA Finals, 2 games into the Stanley Cup Final, and guess what? Mandatory workouts. NFL is upon us. All that, plenty more. Don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
I told him, I said, if Jesus Christ came and knocked on my door, I would not be more surprised.
Ironically, you don't have to worry about that now, because if Jesus knocked on your door, Turley would run him off.
Thinking he was a homeless person.
Right, he's just a notorious homeless denier.
You and flip-flop man.
Homeless denier!
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Calling all snack MVPs, it's time to huddle up with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the low-carb, high-protein snack with a flavor-packed crunch. From sea salt and cracked black pepper to hot honey, sweet barbecue, and more, these bold bites are ready to tackle your crunch time cravings. Find your flavor playbook at H-E-B and make every bite count, because when it's crunch time, there's only one snack you need on your team: Southern Recipe Small Batch.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. You know, the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-880-6363. That's 1-800-880-6363. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-880-6363. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Father's Day kicks off early Saturday, June 14th at Lion and Rose Dominion. Enjoy free experiences like cigar rolling, mini spa treatments, and prize drawings. It's Saturday, June 14th from 3 to 7 p.m. at Lion and Rose, just off I-10 West past the Dominion exit.
So happy it's Thursday. So happy that you're here. I'm just happy today. It's just a happy day Big night for me last night. The Pacers come through. I'm happy about that. A.J. Hoffman took a bath. That makes me happy. I don't mean the kind where you use water. He lost a lot of money.
Wow, you are really reveling in AJ's.
I am, because I'm still waiting on that. And, we've got until Sunday. So, AJ, if you happen to be listening or anybody knows AJ, you can text him. He still said OKC in 5. And I said, I'll take that bet. And it was like, cricket, cricket, cricket.
I mean, you have his number too.
Well, I'm not calling him. He was the one that suggested that. So I'm just saying, if he'd like to call in, he's more than welcome to do that. But, yeah, I feel pretty confident this is going to go more than 5 games. I just don't see it happening. I think Indiana's too good. Both teams are good, obviously, and because they're in the NBA Finals. They've earned their way. And last night, the fourth quarter, really the second half was fantastic. It was great, but especially that fourth quarter, it was a lot of fun. And we've been talking a lot about the Spurs and what they need to do or what we think they need to do, kind of playing general manager a little bit, which is a lot of fun to do, and how they should construct and build a team that could be an Indiana Pacers or an Oklahoma City Thunder and get to the NBA Finals. I mean, that's what we all want. I don't think there's any Spurs fan out there that wouldn't like it if the Spurs were in the finals right now, taking on the Indiana Pacers themselves. Everybody would like to do that. And so how do you do it? How do you construct this team? Now, obviously, the Spurs have the second overall pick in the draft coming up on the 25th, and they've got pick number 14 as well. You've got Wemby. You've got De'Aaron Fox. I certainly think, and I think everybody pretty much thinks he will be signing an extension as soon as that's possible in July. And Stephon Castle, who had a great season. And then you've got some role players in Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, Keldon Johnson, and some others on there as well. Do you use those guys, the role players I'm talking about, as trade bait, along with some of the draft capital that the Spurs have, to get some role players? I'm not talking about Giannis. I'm not talking about Kevin Durant. I'm talking about role players that can play a role, very similar to what the Indiana Pacers have, that the Oklahoma City Thunder have. That's what I'm talking about, and that's what I would like to see happen. That's how I would like to see this constructed because, again, the Spurs in their glory days between 1999 and 2014, that's what they did. They had Timmy, they had Tony, they had Manu. Before that, it was David and Timmy, and then some great players around them, but some role players as well. Mario Elie, one of those guys, just a tough, hard-nosed guy that would just do the dirty work.
Junkyard dog.
Exactly, and there's obviously many, many others. And Robert Ory's a name you could throw out. Steve Kerr, a name you could throw out. I mean, they had role players, guys that knew their roles and fit a need. So I would like to see that happen. Now, I think the Spurs, in their wisdom, when you draft guys like Sohan, when you draft guys like Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson, I think you think that's what you're doing. Now, let me tell you exactly, because I did a little research today, and I didn't go through the entire roster, but what I did was the leading scorers, or everybody that was a major part of last night's game, and how they ended up getting to where they were. We all know Tyrese Halliburton was via a trade. So he comes to the Pacers via trade.
Mm-hmm.
Pascal Siakam via trade. Miles Turner was actually drafted by the Pacers, and he's been there since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been there a long time.
Out of Texas.
Exactly right. Obi Toppin, trade. Now, I've got Halliburton written down twice for some reason.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
I don't know why I did that.
Maybe you meant Neesmith on one of them. He was acquired via trade from Boston.
Neesmith via trade, Boston. So, and he was a big part of last night's game. So what I'm saying here is that Indiana, as constructed, they didn't draft and develop. They didn't do that. They went out and they made some picks and they made some trades and they got the players that they needed in here. And all of these players that I just talked about fit a need. Obviously, Miles Turner is a great center. And he's a big dude and he can shoot and he was drafted and developed and he stayed there. I get that. But Halliburton they brought in. Siakam they brought in. Siakam Obviously, the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He played fantastic. And last night, again, he did that. Obi Toppin, we talked about him. He stunk in the first quarter, but he turned that around and he hit some big buckets for them as well via trade.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to draft and develop. It's not a small part. It's a road.
It's a part of the equation.
It's a part of the equation, but another part of the equation, Spurs fans, and nobody wants to get rid of anybody. Once they put on a jersey here in San Antonio, it's like, can't get rid of that guy. Can't do that. And it's like the number 2 pick now. All I hear is, there's no way we're going to trade that away. There's no possible way.
Why not?
You don't have to if you go out and get role players like the guys I'm talking about. Let's look at Oklahoma City. SGA. Trade. They traded for SGA. Lou Dort was a free agent. They brought him in. Alex Caruso. Trade. Isaiah Hartenstein. Free agent. They brought him in. Now, they have some players, obviously, that they've drafted, and Sam Presti's done a hell of a job. I mean, there's no question.
Jalen Williams.
Yes, Jalen Williams. And you guys know they had a draft night trade with the Dallas Mavericks to get Case and Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
So, there is that, and they've got those guys. But I'm just saying some of the guys, SGA, look, and nobody knew SGA was going to be SGA when they made the trade for him. But he has developed his game in Oklahoma City. But they brought him in because he had that potential, and look what he's turned into. Look, Giannis would be fantastic, and it'd be a big splash. It would be great. Everybody would look at San Antonio. That'd be fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Kevin Durant, that would be awesome, right? You have Kevin Durant here in San Antonio. It's not necessarily needed. You have your big 3. You have your foundation.
I've got an idea.
What's that?
You go out and you make a trade for Paul George. Because Paul George and trading him away is what led to them getting the pieces for both of these teams, by the way.
I see
to
where you're
be
talking
where
about.
they're at.
I see where you're talking about. Yeah. No, and you're right. Paul George was a big part of both of these teams building. But when you look at it, we don't need that. Because guess what the Spurs have?
Foundation.
They have that, and they've got draft capital. They've got plenty of draft capital to make any kind of deal that they want to make. And those deals don't have to be big deals. They can be players that fit a need. What do we talk about? Spurs could use a big man. They could use a big man, a rim protector, because Wemby is not necessarily that, although he does it, but he likes to go out as well. He's a three-point shooter. He do it all. So you have a rim protector. If Wemby's on the bench, you need a big guy, and you need a shooter, and you need a guy that can play some defense other than Victor Wembanyama. Stephon Castle could be that guy. He plays some defense, and hopefully he continues to improve, and everybody thinks that he will. But I point this out, and I looked at it this morning just because I wanted to see how these teams were constructed. These teams don't have big stars. They don't have dream teams. They don't. They got guys that a lot of guys have never heard of before you start watching these guys play. It's not necessary to go out and get the shiny object, and just because you want the shiny object. Everybody was all excited about Chris Paul last year. I understand Chris Paul's a big name. He's a Hall of Famer. He's going to go down as one of the greatest players in NBA history. And he's one of those guys that's going to go down to never win a championship ring, which is unfortunate for Chris Paul because he's a hell of a guy, like Chris Paul. And he was a mentor, okay. If that was his purpose, fine. But isn't that time over? I mean, who still needs to be mentored? I mean, this is the NBA. If you're a player in the NBA, do you really need somebody to sit there and hold your hand and babysit you? You need to develop. You're good enough to play. You've got coaches. You don't bring in players to be babysitters.
They're not babysitters. I do understand the need for mentorship and mentors and Tim talked about how David was a mentor to him.
Sure.
It helps them grow as a professional more so than the coaches, because it's about the players, the people that are in the league, in the locker room, on the road every day with them, talking about more than just basketball, but also basketball, helping them get their body right and everything. I understand the mentorship aspect. The problem with Chris Paul is he is also dead set on playing and playing as much as he can. As a mentor, sometimes, like, Tony Parker, he had a mentor in Speedy Claxton behind him that could, like, break glass in case of emergency type situations when Tony wasn't playing well early in his career. But for the most part, he knew his role, and sometimes that role was coming off the bench. But he was also the mentor to the future.
Sure.
I don't think Chris Paul fully embraced the mentorship aspect of. There was a point in time this season that he needed to be the guy that was coming off the bench.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, I don't, and he never did, and I think that was part of the deal. I think he was a mentor. I think he took that role, but he did still want to play. But Chris Paul's not coming back here next year. I think that's pretty much been determined. He's not. You've got De'Aaron Fox, and you've got a Stephon Castle, and those guys need to be on the floor. So I don't think those guys that Chris Paul's coming back. I understand when people talk about Kevin Durant, he's a shooter. He will fit that need. I get it. But you don't have to make a splash like that to get players in here that you need that can fill a role. You just don't. Now, while that'd be great for the fans, and I'm sure it would sell tickets and all of that kind of stuff, it's not necessary. It's not.
You're building a team, and the best part about these teams is these teams are complete teams because they have guys that know their role within the team.
Exactly, and they all play to that role.
I've got a couple of names that we haven't mentioned before on this show.
Talk to me.
That we could mention as potential trade assets, especially knowing that the New Orleans Pelicans, outside of Zion Williamson, are kind of looking to accrue more draft capital, young talent, and blow that thing up.
There's a lot of teams out there, but go ahead.
If New Orleans is really looking to move off of some things, they've got a couple of players, 3-and-D guys, as you say, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy III, and Yves, the big that they got in the.
I know who you're talking about. I don't.
YVES. But yeah, I mean, a couple of players wouldn't cost what Giannis or a bunch of other players would cost you, and already know their kind of role within a team and aren't looking to be that foundational player for an organization.
And you don't have to. And I love YouTube, guys. And if you want to subscribe to our YouTube page, please do so. San Antonio Sports Star, like and subscribe there, and comment whatever you want. I just want to address one because there's this out there pledge that I'm a flip-flopper for whatever reason. Mike Bean says, Joe recently was all for a trade. Now he ain't. No, I am for a trade. I'm for several trades if that's what you want to do, because I'd like to bring in some guys of need. I'm saying is I'm not for a trade necessarily, although having Giannis here would be fantastic, for a Giannis or a KD or another big superstar player. I am for a trade to get some players in here that fill a need.
Yves Missy.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking of.
So whether it's via trade or whether it's via free agency, I'm all for it. I think this team needs an upgrade. I don't think, you know what? I don't think this team needs an upgrade. I know this team needs an upgrade. And I'm talking about the Spurs. They do. They've got three players here that is the foundation of this team. And you need to fill the holes around those three guys. That's the history of the Spurs. They've done it for as long as I've covered this team, and I think that should be the blueprint moving forward. And I hope it is, and it gives me hope the fact that they went out and got and made a trade, which I was very happy with, for De'Aaron Fox. So that's what I'm talking about. And De'Aaron Fox, while he is a great player, very good player, he's not a huge superstar. Hopefully he will turn into that, but he's not a KD or a Giannis. but he fits a need. The Spurs needed a point guard. They needed a point guard of the future, and they've got one in Fox.
Before this Fox trade, remember going into last season, we heard a name, and everybody was like, why him? Remember that name? It was Benedict Mathurin. They were trying to get him from the Pacers before the season started last year, but Indiana didn't want to get rid of him.
Well, and I don't blame
Smaller
him.
name.
Sure.
But knows his role, and look what he's doing right now, especially last night in Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
That's what I'm talking about. So, look, that's what I want to see. And if you think I'm flip-flopping, fine. Think that. I don't really care. I don't want a big splash player. I don't think this team needs a big splash player. They've got one already, and his name is Victor Wembanyama. And this guy, if he stays healthy, there's no telling how good he can be. He is the foundation of this team. He is the pillar of this team. You build around him. They've done that already with De'Aaron Fox via trade and through the draft with Stephon Castle. I'm just and Keldon Johnson is the most tradable piece on this team just because of his contract situation. So whether that happens or not, I don't know. Devin Vassell, if he could learn to fill a role and understand what that role is, then I think he's a valuable piece that you could keep. But my problem with Devin, and I love the guy, I've been a big Devin Vassell fan. My problem with Devin is he doesn't seem to know how to play the third guy, the fourth guy. Devin's used to being the guy, and I don't think that he understands that role because, look, when he's the star, when everybody got hurt, when Fox was out, when Wemby was out, Vassell plays. The problem is he's got to learn how to play as being the third or fourth guy on a team, and I'm not sure that he's there yet. Now, if he can learn how to do that, great, and learn how to make some shots, that would be nice too. So that's what I'm talking about, and that's what I would like to see happen this offseason. If the Spurs go out and make a big splash for Giannis or KD, okay, so be it. I'm gonna cheer those guys on and hope that they're the missing piece. But I think that they need role players like you're seeing on the floor, like you saw last night, like you're going to see Sunday night, that fit a need. That's what I think this team needs to do. That's the blueprint, and they've already started. De'Aaron Fox was a big piece of that puzzle, and they'll extend him. He's going to be a part of this team. I have every reason to believe that they will. They haven't done it yet, and they can't yet, but they will. And so once they do that, he's the point guard of the future. Stephon Castle's your two guard. You go out and get a wing player who can play defense and make shots and get a big man. And I think you're going to have a pretty good starting five right there, and a starting five with some depth on the bench from guys you probably have never heard of that will be good players and good role players. And I think that's how you do that. If you want to talk about it, I'm getting a lot of comments on our YouTube page. If you want to call in and talk about free agents, play GM for a little bit, please do so. 656-3776, 656-ESPN, or you can get me on Twitter as well, at Joe Reinagle 210. But if you want to see some good conversations and some good and not so good comments, go to our YouTube page if you get an opportunity to do that, and you can chime in there as well. Good stuff, and we're going to go back to this because I just think it's important that we understand that it's not always about getting the going for the big star, the biggest prize that's out there. It's not always about that. It's about filling needs with guys that can play, guys that are hungry, and guys that want to do something like you're seeing from Indiana and from Oklahoma City. So we'll talk more about that when we continue here. I want to talk, though, when we come back about TSA. You like getting patted down going through the airport, TSA, the checkpoint and all that? That might be going away. And nobody's going to be happier about that than my good friend Vinny Vincetta. I got a story about old Vin Dog when we come back here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1. Hey, before we go, though, I'm going to tell you about Stevens Roofing. Stevens Roofing, great company. Love the folks at Stevens Roofing. Family-owned company, local company, and they're just the best in the business. I know this because of the work that they do, number one, and the fact that they've been in business in San Antonio and South Texas for so long. And you know as well as I do, you don't stay in business that long if you're not doing the job right. Stevens Roofing and Solar does the job right. Their phone number is 210-785-0994. Right now, if you give them a call at 210-785-0994, they'll send a crew out to give you a free, no-obligation roof inspection. We've had some storms lately. Could have done some damage to your roof. I hope not, but it could have. And we got a long, hot summer to get through here in San Antonio. And that sun beating down on your roof, boy, it can take its toll. You want to make sure your roof's up to par, that it can withstand all of that. Stevens Roofing will let you know. Call them. They'll send a crew out. They'll check, and they'll let you know what they think your roof needs, if anything. Give them a call at 210-785-0994. You can also visit them online at stevensroofing.net. Either way, that's how you schedule your free inspection. Stevens Roofing and Solar is keeping your roof in top shape so you don't get caught off guard when the heat throws its best pitch. Give them a call. Why don't you do it now? Stevens Roofing, 210-785-0994.
Riding 1604 with the Blitz.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Hi, everybody. Joe Reinagle here for the Golf Club of Texas. I absolutely love the Golf Club of Texas. They've made so many improvements to the golf course, from brand new cart paths to resodding the greens and fairways. You might think it's a private club, but it's not. It's open to the public 7 days a week. Best rates are always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, you know where it is, right there off Briggs Ranch Road off Highway 90. The Golf Club of Texas is the friendliest golf course in Texas.
Guys, starting TRT has never been easier. Other places charge hundreds of dollars just for the test, but visit any Synergenics or Low T center and get the consultation and test totally free. Treatment is personalized to you, and most major insurance is accepted. With the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment, you're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
If you've been injured in an accident, you know there's no shortage of attorneys who want your business. But when it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years. We've successfully represented thousands of injured Texans, earning over 12,000 five-star reviews on Google. So, who is the right attorney for you? Just look at the numbers. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads. No. T-shirt cannon. I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost, so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So, I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40. 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-880-6363. That's 1-800-880-6363. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-880-6363. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Yeah, there's a winner-take-all in Game 3 in Oklahoma City for the title. Texas Tech Red Raiders held off a Texas Longhorns late rally last night to win 4-3. That forces the decisive Game 3 for the championship tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN. Of course, that is women's softball. And the UTSA Roadrunners in Los Angeles. They're getting set for their first ever Super Regional. They'll take on UCLA. Game 1 set for tomorrow at 6.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Yes, sir. And it's Friday on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix has the day off today. James Pledger's working as usual. The guy he's a worker, man, a workaholic, this guy. He works all the time. But he's here today. I'm happy about that, pushing the buttons in his glass box of fun. And, man, we got a lot to talk about. It's a great Friday, by the way. I hope everybody's having a great Friday afternoon. I certainly am, and it'd be nice to know that you are as well. Either way, thanks for joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star. We appreciate you spending part of your day with us. However you may be doing that, if you're listening on our YouTube page, thank you for that. You can subscribe to our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. If you're listening driving around this beautiful city of San Antonio, you can always call in and offer an opinion, 656-3776. Or you want to say something to me on Twitter, you can do that as well, at Joe Reinagle 210. Justin Guerrero last night sent a tweet, Pledge. Did you see that? To me, you, and Minix. Yeah. He moved his TV. He moved a little TV in, I guess that's his living room there, where he's watching the softball game on the bottom little TV and the basketball game on the big TV. So I guess Minix is expiring some of these folks to put 2 TVs in their living room. And that's a pretty good little setup that Justin has there. So that's pretty good.
Are you inspired?
Not really. I'm okay. I didn't look, no disrespect to the ladies, okay? But I didn't watch any of the softball game. And I hear it was great. In fact, it was awesome is what I hear, but I didn't watch any of it. I'm watching basketball last night. I was a bachelor last night, so, stopped off, got some wings.
So you could have 2 TV'd it.
Well, I could have, but I didn't want to go through that much work. Justin there, it looks like that was a lot of work to get that thing done. I was fine, man. Had some wings and, opened a bottle of wine and watching the game, and I was having a good time.
Wings and wine.
Wings and wine. It was fantastic.
That's a combination I have not tried.
That's a nice Thursday night, Pledge. You ought to try. Depends on how hot the wings are, though. And I like them pretty hot. I get the Cajun flavor from Wingstop, right? So I get the Cajun flavor.
I usually do like a lemon pepper or...
Well, it's pretty hot. So the wine was... I should have specified that. I actually had a cold beer with the wings and wine after.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. That sets that straight.
That makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
Because wings and beer, that's a natural
that's
pairing.
perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
But I'd never heard wings and wine. That's what threw me.
So I was able to sit down and watch the game. And look, Maggie's pretty good about, doing that. Either she'll go somewhere else or I'll go out on the back patio and watch TV out there. But either way, last night was kind of fun because you just sprawl out there on the couch with the dogs and you just kind of sit there and watch the game. Because I was really into it, and I wanted to, to watch every play, and so I know what the hell I'm talking about here today. But
I think there was another reason.
Well, there was another reason, and I'll be honest with you, there were many times during last night's game I was a little nervous. I won't lie to you. I had the Pacers plus 9.5. I also had them plus 10. And there were times where I was a little nervous, but they came through in the clutch. You know what we do this time pretty much every day? It's called the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. Two guys, two opinions, never enough time.
You know, if you know me, and Pledge too, for that matter, we like to talk a little golf. And I'm not going to talk a lot of golf, so you guys you're fine. Don't go to get excited. But Rory McIlroy,
I knew this would get you.
He didn't play in Jack's tournament last week, and I was kind of concerned about that because I think he and Jack are pretty good friends. Now, I don't know if there's a blow up or he just didn't feel like playing. And listening to Rory, maybe that's the case. He didn't feel like playing. He is playing this week in Canada. And I haven't seen what he's done today. Yesterday, he didn't play very well. He shot one over. Well, as you all know, Rory McIlroy completed the career Grand Slam when he won the Masters this year. So he's won all 4 of the majors in a career, not during the same year, obviously, but in a career, and that's a big accomplishment on the PGA Tour. Well, Rory made an announcement, or an admission, I guess I should say, yesterday that, right now, after achieving what he achieved, he's just kind of not feeling it.
I don't know if I'm chasing anything. I would certainly say that the last few weeks, I've had a couple of weeks off, and going and grinding on the range for 3 or 4 hours every day is, maybe a little tougher than it used to be. Just, you have this event in your life that you've worked towards, and it happens. Sometimes it's hard to find the motivation to get back on the horse and go again. So I think the last 2 weeks have been good for me, just as a reset, just to sort of figure out where I'm at in my own head, what I want to do, where I want to play, and reset some goals. I thought it was a good time to reset some goals. I've had a pretty good first half of the season, and I want to have a good second half of the season now too.
Ooh, be stealing my lucky charms. Ooh, be stealing my lucky charms. Ooh, be stealing my lucky. I guess. Why do I think of that every time I hear Rory McIlroy talk? I don't know why, but it reminds me of the Lucky Charms guy.
Wow, you wanted to know how Rory's doing today?
How's he doing?
Well, he is +6 on the day, +7 on the tournament, and he's only through 10 holes.
Wow, he's playing like a hack. Like a hack today. And see,
it took me a while to scroll all the way to the bottom to find his name. He is in 149th place.
Oh, that's damn. He's not going to make the cut. He won't make the cut for that tournament. So that explains, and he's just not into it right now. And look.
Out of 153.
I could sit here and rag on Rory about that and say, what the hell?
Put on some shorts and go play with the livers.
And I'm sure they would give him $1 bazillion to do that. And it would be a big loss to the PGA Tour right now. But look, I'm trying to find a way to be mad about that comment. But I just can't. Because any one of us, had you been battling and practicing and blisters on your hands and you win the Masters finally, you complete the Grand Slam, and then it's like, I did it. Any one of us, number one, would go get drunk as hell and have a party that night, and then you just feel like, man, I just don't feel the range today. I don't want to play today. I don't want to do that. I mean, any one of us do that, he'll snap out of it, but I think we'd all be the same way.
That's the key, though. You said that night we'd all go get drunk, and maybe that week we'd indulge in our baser instincts.
Yes.
The Masters happened back in April. It's June,
and you got the U.S. Open coming up next week.
Exactly.
I don't know. We'll see how he does there.
We had another major. There has been one major played since that major, and another major is about to be played next week.
Well, I think he did okay in that. I can't remember what he did in the PGA Championship. He wasn't in the top 10, obviously, but look, I don't blame the guy. He's got to get it going again and get it back together, because what you don't see, as much as I would love to play golf for a living at a high level the way those guys do, that would be fantastic, but I can't. But those guys, they put in 5-6 hours on the range, and that can be tough. So I'm not going to rag on Rory too much for that, as long as he snaps out of it pretty damn quick. Did you guys hear this story? And this story does piss me off. I won't lie to you. There's a California girl a high school sprinter who was stripped of the state title due to unsportsmanlike conduct. Here's what she did, and I saw this story the other day, and I see the where it came from. There was an Olympic or a guy that I don't know if he was in the Olympics or he was pretty damn close to it. He was a sprinter, and I can't remember his name. He crosses the finish line first, and then he gets a fire extinguisher and sprays it on his feet, right? And everybody went, that's great. That's awesome. Well, this girl wins the state title and gets a little baby fire extinguisher and sprays her feet with it. And they tell us that you can't do that. It's unsportsmanlike. And I'm like, you donkeys. I mean, unbelievable. You donkeys. How can you take a state title away from a girl? All she's doing is mimicking a guy that she watched and did the same thing. To me, I just, it's so unfair. It's so unfair. And I really hope that somebody that's got a hell of a lot more pull than I do will get this girl's state title back to her. I think I saw an interview with her and she was just bawling.
Maurice Green.
This girl was bawling. And her father was there, and her father was upset because he's the one that gave her the little fire extinguisher, and so it was just it was a bad deal. So I feel bad for her, and I hope that somebody does something there in California to get this girl her state title back. I also saw a story about TSA. Now, reportedly, they're working on what they're calling touchless inspection technology that could make those physical pat-downs obsolete. And it's almost like the thing you put over your eyes when you're playing video games and it makes it look like it's
VR.
Really happening. Yeah, right? What it's called, VR?
VR.
All right, virtual reality. It's kind of like that, and where I guess they can kind of see, I don't know what they can see inside you, but without, feeling you up and touching you. And I hope that happens, especially for my good friend Vinny Vincetta. And I don't think he'll mind me telling this story. Vin Dog and I were coming back from Los Angeles one time, and Vinny works at Channel 5, and he's still there, by the way. Great guy, great reporter, love working with him. Worked with him about 10, 12 years. And so we're coming back from Los Angeles, and I had gone through security first, and so I'm standing there waiting on him. And in the security in Los Angeles, they have like a monitor right there. And all I saw was a big red blotch right over Vinny's crotch. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, so I started laughing my ass off.
So this is your fault? You pointed it out? You went, what's that?
They got a TSA guy right there looking at it, but it was just red, and it was right over his crotch. And I'm like, I'm looking at this, and I start laughing. And poor Vinny, man, he just they say, well, yeah, we got to pat you down. I mean, he obviously has a bomb on his crotch. And so they pat the poor guy down. Obviously, he has nothing, but it was the damnedest thing. And my only regret for that, Pledge, is the fact that I didn't take a picture of it.
That's my regret. Why wouldn't you have done that?
I don't know, but I'm looking at this, and I just look up, and I see that monitor, and there's a red blotch right there on Vinny's crotch. And I'm like... what the hell's going on? Oh, poor Vinny. Great guy. Love old Vinny. He's a good dude. But I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. I'll be honest with you. I'm just sitting there dying, man. I'm laughing my face off while they're patting old Vinny down. And it wasn't, like an attractive woman. It was like an old dude who was just, feeling old Vinny up. And he walked away and he said, man, I feel violated. It's like, I'll never forget that, man. You're a good man, Vinny Vincetta. You are a good man. How would you feel, since the Knicks have a head coach opening and Claymore on our YouTube page, big Dallas Mavericks fan, what if they stole Jason Kidd away from you? That is the rumor that the Knicks are interested in old J. Kidd. We're talking about it when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Morning Huddle.
I went through it, and they told me no one time.
They would never tell me no.
Oh, they will. Trust me.
Are you crazy? You think I'm an unfit cat parent?
You just had one die on you.
You son of a bitch.
Of the 2 cats you've had, one of them's
dare
dead.
you?
You're batting 500.
How dare you?
Just saying.
You wouldn't bring up the time that a coyote ran off with your puppy?
That's been years ago.
But did it happen?
That was a puppy. I didn't say puppy. I'm just talking cat right here.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. Divorce is tough. It's emotional, challenging, and can upend everything you've worked hard for. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control and protect your financial future. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about protecting what you've built, securing your assets, and ensuring you have the resources to move forward with confidence. You've worked hard for everything you have, and we're here to help safeguard it and avoid unnecessary losses. If you're serious about protecting yourself through the divorce process and securing your future, Barton & Associates is the team you need by your side. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
Nigel, why does our office look like a casino?
I call it employee engagement.
Folks, right now is the ideal time to hit the jackpot on comfort with Quarter Moon's Lucky 7's AC tune-up. It's just $77 for a complete 7-point inspection.
Excuse me, bossman. I've got a good feeling about that slot machine next to your desk. Joel, I couldn't get an advance on next week's check, could I?
Call Quarter Moon Plumbing, AC and Heating for your Lucky 7's AC tune-up. Just $77. 210-651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074EM16004.
This just in. The NFL schedule has dropped, and you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
Eczema flaring up again. We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Father's Day kicks off early Saturday, June 14th at Lion and Rose Dominion. Enjoy free experiences like cigar rolling, mini spa treatments, and prize drawings. It's Saturday, June 14th from 3 to 7 p.m. at Lion and Rose, just off I-10 West past the Dominion exit.
You know what I love is the fact that the Dallas Mavericks, anything they do these days would not surprise me, I don't think. Yeah, trade Cooper Flag. Why not? Why not do that? We like somebody else better. Give away Jason Kidd? Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's do it. What do they care? I mean, the Mavericks are like the, I don't know, the franchise that just, I think I can. Oh, Nico Harrison, man, he's something else. Now, again, I say this in jest, at least about Cooper Flagg. I don't think they would be stupid enough to trade the number 1 pick away after trading Luka Doncic away for nothing, basically. But how about Jason Kidd? Now, Jason Kidd just signed an extension with the Mavericks, and I'm looking for the details of said contract, and I can't find them. They haven't been publicly released, at least for anything that I can find. All I know is it goes beyond last season. So I'm assuming it's a 3, 4, 5-year contract extension, probably for a pretty sweet amount of money. But there is a story circulating around that, and of course, the New York Knicks have fired Tom Thibodeau, and you can certainly see why they did that. I mean, the guy only took him to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time 25 years. I'd fire that dude too. Come on. But they fired him. So now they're looking for a head coach. 2 names have been put out there that they would be interested in. And obviously both of them you would understand. Ime Udoka is one, who is the head coach of the Houston Rockets. The Rockets came out immediately and said, that ain't happening. There ain't no way Ime's leaving Houston, especially for New York. Well, then the other name on that rumored list is a guy by the name of Jason Kidd. He currently is employed by the Dallas Mavericks as their head coach. And again, he just signed that extension. To my knowledge, and I can't find it anywhere, the Mavericks have not come out and said Jason Kidd's not going anywhere.
They have not.
They haven't. They haven't said a word about that. So, could Jason Kidd end up being the head coach of the New York Knicks? Now, look, they're probably going to come after him with a boatload of money, but they would have to, I don't know, compensate the Dallas Mavericks. Probably it would involve a trade of some sort, draft picks, I don't know, something of that nature to be able to pull this off. Do you think that's possible? That Jason Kidd could leave the Mavericks? Now, if they have to pony up draft capital, the Knicks have none. That's why these ridiculous rumors about Giannis going to the New York Knicks are about as much as me playing in Yankee Stadium tonight. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
No, I understand getting 3rd and 4th and 5th teams involved can help with that if you're sending different players, Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby possibly, in other directions to acquire the draft capital needed. Like, I understand that part of it, but it's very far-fetched to think that there's some tsunami offer out there for Giannis that the Knicks could potentially have with their lack of capital that they have to be able to make something like that happen.
You know, I don't get it. And I mean, KD has been rumored Knicks bound. But again, he may be easier to get for the Knicks than Giannis would be, and that is certainly a possibility. Claymore, who is our Dallas Mavericks insider on our YouTube page, or our Dallas Mavericks fan, certainly says, why don't you ask Mark Stein? Well, Claymore, Mark Stein's the guy who's spreading this rumor that the Mavericks are rumored, or the Knicks are rumored to be after Jason Kidd. He's the guy that put this story out today. That's who every other website is quoting, is Mark Stein. Now, Mark Stein is a reputable NBA guy, NBA insider. He's very good. In fact, you can't read his stuff unless you pay for it. He's one of those guys that's got the paywall up, and you can't do that unless you pay for it. But you get other websites who kind of, I guess, pay for it and then just credit him, and they can reprint it on their website.
Aggregators.
So he's the one that's saying this, that the Knicks are very interested in one Jason Kidd. And look, I don't blame him. I mean, Jason Kidd has done a pretty good job. How much Jason Kidd had to do with the Luka trade is a matter of discussion. Now, I've heard both ways, that he knew about it and he was all in on it, and I've heard the other side that he really was kind of blindsided by it. So I don't know, and if you're Jason Kidd, I'm telling you about it, I had no idea this was happening, whether that's true or not.
I like to go by body language. And Jason Kidd's body language at the presser after they traded Luka away, when they finally sat down and talked about it, did not reek of someone who knew or was happy that this happened.
You're right. It didn't. But again, he lives in Dallas. If I'm Jason Kidd, I don't care what the truth is. I don't know what happened. It blindsided me. I'm just as pissed off as you are. I mean, that's what I'd be saying. The hell with my general manager. I'm like, hey, I don't know what the hell happened. These guys are crazy. They're nuts. We'll see what happens there. But the Knicks have all these grand rumors floating around out there, and they have no draft capital to do anything. So it's going to be interesting to me to see what happens with the New York Knicks. And you know what? They're the New York Knicks. So I really don't give a damn what happens to the New York Knicks, first and foremost.
What?
And as far as I'm concerned, they could just, go away. But Giannis certainly isn't going to end up with the Knicks unless there's about 10 teams involved in this thing. And Kevin Durant, I guess, could. He could. That's possible. I think the Suns, honestly, are going to end up giving Kevin Durant away for a sandwich. I just believe that. I don't think it's going to cost the team much at all.
Ham or peanut butter?
Well, ham maybe. That's a little more pricey than a peanut butter sandwich. But they're going to get something, but I don't think it's – I mean, you're already hearing the prices coming down for this guy. So I honestly believe it's not going to be that expensive to get a Kevin Durant wherever he happens to be. I just feel like Kevin Durant would rather go to a New York Knick, go to a big city, than come to San Antonio. Now, I could be wrong, and the fact that I don't want him here could make a difference in my thinking. I just don't think it's the fans would be nuts, but I just don't think it's the right move to make. We'll see what happens in the offseason, but I don't want Kevin Durant here. I just don't. They can do better, as we've discussed previously on the show. So we'll see what happens there. Now, Adam Silver spoke yesterday before the Oklahoma City, Indiana game, and he's talking about small markets and ratings. And I find it interesting because that's what people are saying. Boy, ABC's got to be just irritated. You got this finals, you got two small markets in Oklahoma City and Indiana, and Adam Silver says, I just don't understand that talk.
I like the fact that people are talking about us. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It seems a little unusual how much discussion there is around ratings in this league. Again, as I said, I'm a fan of all sports, and I follow lots of media, and it seems like there's a lot more chatter. And even for me, it's just sort of just walking on the street and fans coming up to me often, and it frustrates me that the first thing they say is, how are the ratings, or what are the ratings going to be, as opposed to, wow, you just had them, two incredible, conference finals. What a great playoff series you've had. So I can't quite put my finger on it.
Yeah, he can't put his finger on it. And I don't understand it either. And I think it was Rick Carlisle who was talking yesterday. It's like, people should be happy no matter who's in there. What difference does it make if it's a big market or not? Look, we heard the same argument with San Antonio. Like, wow, boy, the network's got to be really upset because the Spurs are in the finals again. Small market, no ratings, all of that kind of stuff. And we didn't give a damn. And I'm sure the people in Indiana don't care. Oklahoma City, they don't care what anybody else in the country thinks. It just doesn't matter. And if the games continue to be like the game one last night, I think the ratings are going to be just fine. I mean, I really do, because people are going to hear about that all day, whether you watch that game or not, and say, oh, man, I missed that. I missed a buzzer beater. It wasn't quite a buzzer beater, but I missed a second shot to win the game last night. That's incredible. I want to watch that. And I think you'll have a lot more people watching game two than watch game one. I haven't seen any ratings yet on game one, but I'd like to. But I think whatever they were for game one last night, I think they'll be much better for game two on Sunday night. And even though I don't like waiting 2 days in between games 1 and 2, that's why the NBA and ABC does it. That's why they do. Hey, we don't have to wait much longer for the UTSA Roadrunners to take on UCLA in the Super Regionals. That's right. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, they will play game 1 of that Super Regional series. It is a best of 3, and they'll play game 1 tomorrow night. Coach Pat Hallmark had a little press conference today, little Zoom call press conference, and, well, we just happened to be tuning in. So you're going to hear from the coach. Interesting. He talked a little baseball, a little strategy, but he was also talking about new stadiums. Wonder what he meant by that. We'll hear from him coming up when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, 2 games into the NBA Finals, 2 games into the Stanley Cup Final, and guess what? Mandatory workouts. NFL is upon us. All that, plenty more. Don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Here in San Antonio in the Hill Country, our water is hard. It's harsh like some accents.
Hey, what's the matter with you?
Now that's harsh. At the same time, those that know have a Connecticut quality water softener and enjoy smooth, soft, pure, clean water like this.
Tú eres mi luz en la oscuridad.
Hard, harsh water.
Hey, use with the face.
Soft water.
El amor es como el agua que nunca se seca.
If you don't have a Connecticut water softener, you're basically inviting hard water into your home to beat up your appliances, hot water heater, and every pipe in your home. And if you can't live without your coffee maker, hard water damages it too. Call me for a free in-home water evaluation at 656 Pure.
For a limited time, get a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off a trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months. Call Connecticut of San Antonio in the Hill Country, 210-656-PURE.
Connecticut is simply the best water softener you can buy, and that's why we say it's the last water softener you'll ever own.
License number 38961.
When it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years and successfully represented thousands of injured Texans. Thomas J. Henry. The name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-880-6363. That's 1-800-880-6363. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-880-6363. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Father's Day kicks off early Saturday, June 14th at Lion and Rose Dominion, hosted by Marissa Gomez, realtor with Real Broker. If you know a dad who deserves some extra love, bring him out for family fun, live music, and delicious food and drinks. Enjoy free experiences like cigar rolling, mini spa treatments, and prize drawings. There's always something special happening at Lion and Rose. It's Saturday, June 14th from 3 to 7 p.m. for the Father's Day kickoff at Lion and Rose, just off I-10 West past the Dominion exit.
Pledge is jamming in there, man. Oh, Pledge going to town in there, just dancing away, having a good time, good music. Why not? It's Friday. Come on. You can't have a good time on a Friday. When can you have a good time? Love Fridays. It is fantastic. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix is off. James Pledger, the dancing machine, is in the glass box of fun. And this is the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star. Boy, I tell you what a day. What a day. It's just been I don't know. I got out of bed this morning. The birds were chirping a little more beautiful. The sun was shining. The grass was greener. Sky was bluer. It was a great day, And that's the beauty when you win a bet. Nice bet that nobody thought you were going to win. Everybody thought I was crazy. But yet you go to bed happy and just everything is right with the world. Just love that. It's just fantastic. It really is. We'll see what happens in game 2. Hopefully I won't give it all back.
Think AJ woke up feeling the same way?
No, I don't think so. I don't think AJ did. He was a little unhappy. AJ was all in on those Oklahoma City Thunders, and they didn't work out too well for him.
Them there Thunders?
Them Thunders, yeah. Ding, 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 ding. That's what you get, AJ. Betting on them hillbillies. I kid because I may be betting on them Sunday. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? A lot of fun, though. That's what happens, right? You win some, you lose some, and that's the fun of it, I think. Not sure. Hopefully, the UTSA Roadrunners will win some and at least 2 of the 3 that they're going to play out in Los Angeles. Team left yesterday and got to L.A. They're going to play UCLA in the Super Regional. First time in the school's history that the UTSA Roadrunners have made it to the Super Regional in baseball. And so very happy for them, and congratulations to everybody associated with UTSA. It is a big, big deal. Their head coach, Pat Hallmark, held a little it's not really a press conference, but he did it for the local media, right? So UTSA sends us a link where you could get on there. It was a Zoom link where you get on there and ask questions and talk to the coach for a little bit. And so several of us got on there. Now, Pledge and I were watching. We didn't ask any questions, but there were several local reporters that did. And there were a lot of topics discussed. One, obviously, they had a lot to do with baseball. And the one thing that I was surprised with, he talked a lot about stadium issues, too. I'm going to get into that, and I want you to know that because it's interesting, and we're going to talk about it, and I want to know what you guys think about that. But he said something that I was kind of surprised with, because when you think about UTSA, as much success as they had this year, baseball-wise, I don't know, do you ever compare them to a dominant major program? Now, I say that knowing that they beat Kansas State and they beat Texas twice. So obviously they're as good as those teams and better. I mean, you could argue, right? They're better. They won. They're better. UCLA is another problem. They've got some pretty good ball players. But I didn't know, and according to Hallmark, when you look at UCLA and UTSA, it's almost like looking in the mirror.
It's kind of ironic if you look at their offense. Their walks, their strikeouts, and their hit by pitch over 60. They played 61 games. We played 60 games. And those 3 stats are within 6 or 8 of us, exactly like us, in terms of they walk a lot, they get hit a lot, and they don't strike out a lot. It's crazy that after 61 games, both teams that were that tight in those 3 stats, because obviously it's a lot of strikeouts and a lot of walks. So I just thought that was ironic. I shared that with the pitchers. I said, look, we do a good job of not striking out. We have a 2-strike approach. Like, be ready to feel like you're pitching against your teammates. They're not going to go away easily. They're going to foul off some tough pitches and hang around up there.
They're going to hang around. So similar when you're talking about certain stats. Look, I don't think UTSA at this point in time is scared of anybody. When you go up into Austin and you beat the Texas Longhorns twice in one weekend, I don't think they're going to be intimidated by anybody. The fact that they're going to UCLA, they're going to be playing in a nice stadium up there. The weather's going to be a little cooler, obviously, than it was in Austin, just because it is Los Angeles. Who knows how that will all affect everything. Well, there were a lot of questions asked. Now, we had Coach Hallmark on here on the Blitz last week, right after they won. I think it was Tuesday. We had him on, and he was talking, and he was asked a question. Actually, Jason asked a question about, look, Coach, if the Super Regional would have been here, had it been UC Irvine beat UCLA, because that's who they played, they would have come to San Antonio for the Super Regional. UTSA would have hosted that. Well, had that happened, nobody knows where they would play. The NCAA won't let them play at the stadium that they play at right now because it's not up to NCAA specs. Well, the Missions are home this weekend. So, I don't know, Wolf Stadium, I guess they could adjust the time and maybe try and work everybody in, and that's probably what they would have done. But, I mean, that would have been a challenge as well. So where would you play that game or those games? That would have been the tough thing. They don't have to think about it because they didn't. That's not the way that it worked out. But Coach Hallmark said, I'm glad you brought that up because it needs to be talked about. We need better facilities. Well, obviously, some of the reporters that cover UTSA on a regular basis heard that, and we're talking about a new stadium. And Coach Hallmark said, look, we're having a lot of success, and we need a stadium upgrade.
I think it's more. I mean,
it's a bigger deal than I anticipated.
Is, between him and
not that I knew we were going to be here, but I knew we had a good team. I knew we had a shot when we officially got into the regional. But a lot of people are reaching out. At the stadium, we had the people greet us when we got back, and then we had the send off. And a lot of those people are pulling me aside, talking about a new stadium. And I've not heard that from UTSA. I'm not saying that, but I've never heard that from anyone ever in the city, from nobody. And I think people realize now we need it. What we're doing this year does not have to be an anomaly. I'm not ready to say we can do it every single year, but we can do this more than not. This can become the goal every year instead of some huge deal like, oh my God, look what we did. It doesn't have to be that. So I'm ready to talk about this stadium as much as anybody wants to talk about it because I want to stay in San Antonio.
Whoa, interesting. Did you hear that? I want to stay in San Antonio. Now, there was no follow-up to that, and I wish there would have been. But I want to stay in San Antonio. So is he implying, and we could think whatever we want, but is he implying they'll get a new stadium, and with the success that UTSA is having, there will be people calling for Coach Hallmark. There will be callers. There will be suitors for him because of the job that he's done here in UTSA. Because he wants to say that was fascinating to me. And I wish Pledge and I would have been on the call now, but who knew that was going to happen? And maybe we'll get him back on depending on how they do, and we'll ask him that question. But our good friend JJ Pettis also was on the call, and he talked about that. It got several questions later, and he wanted to follow up on the new stadium upgrade or idea. And this is what Coach Hallmark had to say.
My hope is the UTSA officials have a plan for something. I know it's a huge, huge undertaking, but that's what we need first and foremost, even above a bigger NIL budget and scholarships. Baseball scholarships, this is the last year that they're capped at 11.7. They open up to, you're allowed to have 34 full scholarships next year. The NIL collective's a thing. So even before we try to address that, my first priority is and always has been some kind of facility upgrade. It doesn't have to be the Taj Mahal. We need something so we don't lose recruits and players. Just something that says we care about baseball and we are invested. When you, the baseball player at UTSA, overachieves and does what you're currently doing, we want to give back to you. That message needs to be sent by the people running UTSA. Otherwise, we lose players, and we don't do this anymore. If that's what they want, that's what they're going to get.
Interesting that he says that, and you can kind of hear the frustration in his voice a little bit. And quite frankly, we hear the same frustration in Jeff Traylor's voice sometimes, more so about NIL. Now, look, the Roadrunner football team has a pretty good building to play in. They play in the Alamo Dome, and that's a great facility. A lot of people have been talking about Wolf Stadium. Now that the Missions are getting a new stadium, what about UTSA playing at Wolf Stadium and just kind of taking that over, reaching some agreement with the city to make that happen? We had Lisa Campos on, the athletic director for UTSA, and she basically said that wouldn't work. Now, she didn't dive into why that wouldn't work or what it may be, but she said that wouldn't work. And she also told us here on the Blitz when we had her on Wednesday that there is a design company of some sort that she said that is looking into the existing field at UTSA to redo the sitting area, the stands, the seats there. Nothing to the field. I don't know what kind of shape that field is in, and I would imagine that would be a pretty easy fix if you wanted to do that and just make it right. But I'm assuming the field itself is in pretty good shape. I don't know that for a fact, but I would assume that it is. The problem out there is where to sit, and you can't fit enough people out there. And look, I say this, and I want to be fair to Lisa Campos, and I want to be fair to the administration. Because, look, I will say this. Lisa Campos, for whatever you think of her, she hired Jeff Traylor. Now she hired Pat Hallmark. She's got some good folks out there with the women's softball team, the volleyball team, and she hired a good basketball coach. Yada, yada. She's hiring good coaches. The problem is when you have success like that, well, then your facilities come into view, and people will be looking at that, and that's a problem. And look, we talk about the Convocation Center all the time. I mean, that place has been the same, and it's been out there for, 100 years as far as I'm concerned. And while it's not ideal, it's at least there are places to sit, and you can watch the game and all of that kind of stuff. But the baseball field, I mean, it's awful. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. There are better Little League parks in this city than that. And I mean that in all sincerity. And you've got a major college team playing there, a team that is in the Super Regionals, playing on a field that a lot of Little League players wouldn't want to play on. And what Hallmark is saying is, in fact, we bring recruits here wanting them to play baseball, and we take them out to the field, which I hope they're not doing. But if they did, they take them out there. Would you want to play there? I mean, it's difficult. And give Hallmark credit for the team that he's assembled to be this good despite that. Jeff Traylor's the same way. He can't pay as much as, say, Memphis can or Tulane in the same conference. But yet, Jeff Traylor's enough of a salesman and a good coach that he can convince players to play here. So it's interesting, and the fact that Coach Hallmark now, and look, to his credit, this is a perfect time to do it. With the success that the UTSA Roadrunner baseball team is having, when is there a better time than to start politicking for new facilities? And I know UTSA is doing everything they can over there, but they've got to decide. They've got to decide because President Amy, I know the major objective of any university is to be an educational facility. That's what you want to do, and you want to make sure that you leave there with a degree that, and you've learned something, and you're all educated up to go do whatever it is you want to do. I get that, and that should be a priority. There's no question about that. But you look at all these other universities. What gets them attention is not how many people graduated with a diploma or an engineering degree or anything else like that. What gets them attention is their sports programs. Whether you like it or not, whether you think it's right or not, it really doesn't matter. That's a fact. Whenever you think about Georgia, what do you think about? The Georgia Bulldogs. You think about the University of Texas, what do you think about? Texas Longhorns, Texas A&M Aggies. Well, guess what? UTSA is getting to the point where they're having success on the football field. That's already happened. And now they're having success on the baseball field. And the women's sports are having success. The ladies basketball team this year, fantastic. They're starting to have sports success. And as you have that success, there's going to be more eyes on you. People are going to look at you. And that not only helps your sports programs, it helps the other stuff too. You've got to make sure that your facilities are up to par. Now, again, we've got to keep in mind, and I try to be fair on this because you got to keep in mind, when I talk about the University of Texas or Texas A&M, those universities have been around forever. They've got generations of people that have gone to those schools. and generations of people that have supported those schools. UTSA does not have that. So they're at a disadvantage when it comes to money. They are. People like April Ansira, she busts her butt to raise money for this university, for the football program. She does, and does a hell of a job. And there are others that do as well. But they do a knockout job of whatever it is that they can do. But we don't have a lot of graduates that have gone on to be multimillionaires that can write checks once a year for new facilities and put their name on it, and new buildings and put their name on it. UTSA just doesn't have that. They just don't. I mean, this was a commuter school for years. And now finally it's turning into a real university. And by that I mean with students living on there and all of that kind of stuff. But look, it's going to be difficult for them money-wise. They're going to have to piecemeal things together. And it's easy to sit here on a microphone and say, just go get the money. Just go do it. Well, it's easy to say and a lot harder to do. So I feel bad. It's a bad situation for these coaches, and it's a bad situation for the administration over there. And quite frankly, Lisa Campos is caught in the middle. I'm assuming she's doing a good job because she's coaching. The coaches she hires are top-notch, and they're proving that on the field of play. Now you got to focus on helping them do their jobs. For Coach Traylor, it's getting him the money he needs to compete with some of these other schools. That's difficult, NIL. But you heard Pat Hallmark, if you've been with us, talking about he would rather have a new stadium than NIL money at this point in time. Think about that. He's not looking for NIL money necessarily. He needs facilities. And look, if this team goes up there and beats UCLA and ends up in Omaha, Nebraska next week, think about that. The publicity that UTSA will get from that. And if they're successful there, whether they win or not, I mean, my goodness, UTSA is going to be in a major national spotlight. Something that they probably didn't think they were ever going to have, but they're going to get it. It's interesting, but it's a two-way street, and it's a difficult – I don't think there's just an answer to pop out to say, hey, we need a new facility, get it done. It's not that easy at UTSA. University of Texas, it's probably a lot easier there than it is here. So I don't know. I understand everybody's dilemma and what everybody's facing, but in the meantime, prayers for the UTSA Roadrunners as they take on UCLA. Game 1 tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
Prayers? Acting like they just got diagnosed with cancer.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, it's a tall order. It was a tall order last weekend. It's going to be a taller. Well, it's not as tall. The UCLA team is good.
The Texas Longhorns were ranked number 1, number 2 in the country. They were the second-seeded team.
So it's a cupcake, a cakewalk, huh, Pledge?
It's definitely a step down in competition.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I really do. I do.
You know, they're a real baseball team now, like Jim Schlossnagle said.
They are a real baseball team, yeah.
And as you so eloquently put, the UTSA is a real school now.
They are a real school now. Absolutely. I don't care whether people like it or not. It doesn't matter. It's a fact. Sports make universities in a lot of ways. They do. And it's just a fact. So, like it or not, that's the way that it goes. Stephen Jones makes the Dallas Cowboys, at least part of it anyway. Daddy makes the rest of it. We're going to hear from Stephen Jones on how he feels about his new head coach. He's very excited. Very excited. We'll talk about that when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding 281 with The Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, you know the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121 is the phone number. You can also text BAIL to 474747 or even start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Whether it's you, a family member, a friend of yours, your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7. Offices all over San Antonio and Texas. License number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121 or online mybestbailbonds.com.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. This Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening this Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-880-6363. That's 1-800-880-6363. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-880-6363. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
The Home Depot has fast, free delivery on the perfect gift to help Dad do more this Father's Day. Because Dad is more than just a dad. He's groundskeeper of the yard, the perfecter of the patio, and the cleaner of the clippings. Power Dad's doing with Ryobi cordless outdoor power tools from the Home Depot. Like the Ryobi 40-volt string trimmer kit for $159. For everything Dad is, find the perfect gift at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for more details.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
You know, we talked about this just the other day, and it happened today, just 8 days after falling in their third straight Western Conference Finals. Dallas Stars announced today they have fired head coach Peter DeBoer. Game 2, Sunday night in the NBA Finals, 7 o'clock. It's a game you can catch on your home for NBA Finals radio, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, starting at 6 o'clock. And, of course, the Pacers went into OKC and stole Game 1.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you're having a great Friday. So happy that you are joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. What a great Friday it's been. Having some great conversations about a variety of things today, and some great comments on our YouTube page, San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. If you haven't had the pleasure of going to our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page, you should do that. Go like and subscribe to our page there, and great conversations, almost like a little community in there, talking and making comments and all of that kind of stuff. So do that. But if you're out driving around, you want to give us a call on anything we talk about, anything that you want to chime in on, you're more than welcome to do that. It's 656-3776, 656-ESPN, or you can comment on Twitter or X or whatever the heck that thing's called these days, at Joe Reinagel 210. I am Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix has the day off today. James Pledger is here producing this fine show. He's in his glass box of fun over there and having some fun today. But I tell you what, I learned something today, Pledge, that I did not know and would have never bet on. Sitting in the office a little bit earlier today before the show, just getting ready, preparing, kind of messing around a little bit. And Iris walks in. You know, Iris, she's sits up front. She's the first person you'll talk to if you ever come to the radio station. One of the nicest people you ever meet. I mean, she is she's a very sweet person. She walks into the office, says, hi. I said, hi. She said, I got some. This is for Jason. I said, okay, that's cool. Just leave it there. And I said, I'm going to open it. And she laughed, which I would never do. All right, it's Jason's thing. I'm not going to open it. But I see an email that was addressed to me and to Jason Minix. And on that email, I was quite surprised. I won't lie to you. I was very surprised. She told Jason that his signed autograph picture of Mickey Dolenz was finally here. And if you know who Mickey Dolenz is, he was the drummer for a band called the Monkees. Now, not only did his photo arrive, and the way Iris addressed this to Jason was, your autograph poster of Mickey Dolenz came in from the Monkees fan club. So I was like, whoa. Who knew? And so, you know, you come to work and you learn things about different things, sports, whatever, and how things work. But who knew that Jason Minix was a Monkees fan and a member of the Monkees fan club? Your autograph poster of Mickey Dolenz came in from the Monkees fan club. He's probably been waiting on that for a long time. So I didn't know that, and I was like, I wrote Jason back. I said, Monkees fan club, ? I said, how sweet, Minix. Then Iris chimes back in and goes, whoops, I don't know if I was supposed to reveal that. I'm sorry, Jason. Oh, I guess that was a secret that Jason's been keeping all these years. I've known Jason for, 30-plus years. I never knew he was a Monkees fan. You know, he always said that manly stuff and Metallica and this, but the Monkees.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. It's like, why? I mean, who knew? Nothing wrong with it. If you're a Monkees fan, that's fine. Nothing wrong with it. But I wonder how many other people have a signed poster of Mickey Dolenz that. It's coming in from the Monkees fan club. I didn't even know there was a Monkees fan club. Did you pledge?
I mean, absolutely. Who wouldn't know about the Monkees fan club?
I had no clue there was one. Now, truth be told, I used to watch the Monkees. They used to have like a sitcom on, and back in those days, man, their lead singer is a guy by the name of Davy Jones, who, all the girls were in love with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, actually, I'm going to get in trouble. Now, I'm not sure Davy was returning with the girls, maybe with I'm not sure which way he rolled, but you could make a case.
I mean, you are highly insinuating, it sounds like.
I'm just saying. Looking back, I don't know. But, yeah, then that's okay. I don't care what you do in your own bedroom.
His good friend and college roommate, Steve, showed up at all his events with him.
Exactly. But it's okay. It's okay. The secret's out now, Jason, and you don't have to hide it anymore. So that ought to be like a big boulder off your shoulders that you're a Monkees fan. And I really hope when he opens that thing, because I didn't open it, I'm really curious, because I don't know if it's to Jason with love, to Jason, my good friend. I don't know. I want to see what it looks like. I hope he displays it proudly here in the studio for everybody to enjoy. But we'll see, because Jason will be back on Monday, and that package will be there, and so we'll see how he handles that. But Mickey Dolenz, and we learned earlier in the show when I told the story the first time that one of the members of the Monkees actually is from San Antonio, and his mother invented whiteout. That stuff, you make a mistake, you white it out, and you can start over. So anyway, that is kind of a local deal, and maybe that's how Jason met Mickey Dolenz and became a Monkees fan. So I don't know, but I'm happy for Jason that he finally got his signed autograph picture of Mickey Dolenz. So I know he's got to be happy. So he's having a great day, a great Friday as well, just like the rest of us. And I'm happy for him. Stephen Jones addressed the media the other day, and he was talking about his head coach, and he was talking about the new culture that Brian Schottenheimer has brought to the Dallas Cowboys. And while he was talking about this, and he was talking about the change, he says, actually, compared to the last two head coaches we had, a change was needed.
I think we're always looking for ways to be better. And, we always talk about culture, and everybody wants a winning culture. But, I think, changing it up's a good thing. Nothing but respect for Coach McCarthy and Coach Garrett and what they've brought in the past. But, we're always looking for a way to get better because, we've got to take this thing to the next level, which is not only we got to get in the playoffs to start with, but once you're there, obviously we hadn't had the success that we want to have. And if bringing a different culture, helps us get there, then I'm 110% for it. And I think, at the end of the day, that's why, unfortunately, whether it's high school, college, pro, that's why people make changes at the top is to do something different. And that was a tough call that we had to make last year. And we feel really good about our choice. And I think Coach Schottenheimer is really being received well. And I think he'll continue to do an outstanding job.
Well, that remains to be seen. Now, if you listen to that soundbite closely, it sounds to me like Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett were just kind of thrown right under the old bus, right? Especially when he says, you got to make the playoffs first and foremost. Cowboys didn't make the playoffs last year, which I'm not sure that's Mike McCarthy's fault. And it's more the Jones family's fault. They didn't give him much of a team, and I thought he did a good job. But a change was needed. I don't think there's any question about that. But once you get into the playoffs, you got to have some success.
Level, which is not only we got to get in the playoffs to start with, but once you're there, obviously we hadn't had the success that we want to have.
Yeah, not only you got to get there, you got to have success once you're there. Bus rolls over Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett. He mentioned them specifically. I thought Jason Garrett was like part of the family. In fact, I thought, oh, Daddy. He mentioned him as like, one of his kids.
Well, that's Daddy.
Yeah. So anytime I think it's funny, and I'm guilty of this too, and I'm sure everybody listening out there is kind of guilty of this too. Anytime you say, with all due respect, or I have a great deal of respect for, and then you go on to trash them, it's like it's kind of like softens the blow a little bit. Yeah, I have a great deal of respect for Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett, but they suck. I mean, it's kind of like, wow, okay. Oh, my goodness. I'm sure Mike McCarthy or Jason Garrett, neither one of them will hear that, will they? Great deal of respect for them, but they blow. So we'll see how Shoddy does. Mandatory minicamp starting up next week. Micah Parsons says he's going to be there, so it looks like the whole family will be there and everything will be hunky-dory, but we'll see how it happens after that. Because after the mandatory minicamp, everybody goes away until training camp starts. So there'll be like a dead period in the NFL for a little while until training camps get started at the end of July. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, who obviously, if you've heard the news, have a new quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. I think they must be playing in the Hall of Fame game because I think they start earlier than everybody else, like July 24th, where everybody else it's more towards the end of July. I'll have to look at that, but I saw that the other day that they start a little bit earlier than everybody else. So no, who's playing in the Hall of Fame game, Pledge?
Chargers-Lions.
Chargers-Lions. Okay, well, maybe they start a little bit earlier than that. I know the teams that are playing in that game can start a week earlier than everybody else. So if the Steelers are starting on the 24th, then I guess the 17th for the Chargers and the Lions. So anyway, it's interesting, and I'm ready for football season. I won't lie to you. I'm glad the NBA Finals looks like it's going to be a little bit closer than everybody thought. And we're talking about it. And I got to tell you, who was it that it was it Pat McAfee that was pissed about the Brock Purdy disrespect?
I'm done with the Brock Purdy slander.
And I'm done with the Indiana Pacers slander. All right? We're talking about it when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Please keep in mind during your stay, el perro es no comida.
Oh, that's good. What did he say? Don't eat the dog? He said, don't eat the dog. I know what that is.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday one. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday two. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Oh, wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Father's Day kicks off early Saturday, June 14th at Lion and Rose Dominion. Enjoy free experiences like cigar rolling, mini spa treatments, and prize drawings. It's Saturday, June 14th from 3 to 7 p.m. at Lion and Rose, just off I-10 West past the Dominion exit.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
We just saw an old friend of ours here back at the studio. Well, Ryan was back here, left us, and got a new job, and coming back to just kind of reunite. It was good to see the old guy. Very nice to see him walking in the studio.
Digital guy.
Digital guy, yeah. Handled all our social media stuff. Did a hell of a job, too. So he's one of those guys that you miss when that happens. And now we got to do it ourselves. And Pledge has got to take on that, too. That's the way it works around here. Like, somebody leaves, and then, everybody else has got double and triple duty. And poor Pledge. That guy, do you live here now, Pledge? Is it pretty much?
I mean, I have an apartment. I pay for an apartment.
But he pretty much lives here. We appreciate the work he does, without a doubt. Oh, my goodness. The game last night was incredible. And, of course, I'm talking about the NBA Finals. NBA Finals game number 1. Oklahoma City was supposed to roll Indiana. At least that's what most people thought. And that didn't happen, although it looked like it could have happened. But it all came down to one final shot.
It is rebounded by Indiana. 8 seconds on the clock. They're down 1. They have timeouts, but they're going to play it. Here's Halliburton driving, lifting, shot up, good! With 0.3 of a second to go. Halliburton does it again. How does he do it? Tyrese Halliburton with another shot to bring Indiana from way back. They've got the lead here in game 1.
Tyrese Halliburton. And when that happened, Pledge, I was sitting on my couch, and I already knew I was going to win the bet. I wasn't going to go over, and there was no way that Oklahoma City was going to cover. So if he hits that shot or not, I'm a winner. It doesn't matter. And he hit it, and I got up and went, yes! Scared the crap out of my dogs.
I mean, he could have missed it. Been fouled.
Wouldn't have mattered.
Hit 1 of 2.
Wouldn't have mattered.
Forced overtime.
Well, now that would have mattered. That would have mattered. But,
and then Oklahoma City wins by 10.
Yeah, well, that didn't matter. And that didn't happen. So why are you bringing up stuff like that? Didn't happen. I got paid. Boom. Boom. You got lunch today. So we had a nice lunch. So all is right with the world. And it was fantastic. Great shot. And look, Tyrese Halliburton's been making a habit of doing that in the playoffs, making those shots. And clutch guy. So no matter what you think of him, if you think he's underrated, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's a good ball player. But he's part of a team with Indiana, and that's what I like about it. They had, 6 guys scoring double figures last night. And when you look at Oklahoma City, especially last night, they just could never pull away enough from the Indiana Pacers. And that was it. Indiana turned the ball over 19 times in the first half. I mean, that's got to be close to a record if it's not a record. 19 turnovers in the first half, and I think OKC was up by 13 at the end of the half. And it's just unbelievable. For them to do that, I think what they get 9 points off of those turnovers, something ridiculous like that, and they just couldn't take advantage of what the gifts that Oklahoma's City was, or that Indiana was giving them last night, and that hurt them. That hurt them because I don't know what adjustments Rick Carlisle made in the halftime locker room, but whatever it was, number one, they didn't turn the ball over anywhere close to what they did in the first half, and they outplayed Oklahoma City in the second half. They did. They just flat out played them in the second half, and Oklahoma City just seemed flustered, including SGA, who scored 38 points last night, but he took 30 shots to do that, which is incredible. 30 shots to score 38 points. So, and he was really the only guy that did that. I mean, there were a couple of others that had double digits, but nobody in that second half especially played well, and they could not pull away, and that's an issue. They needed to put Indiana away early, and if they had done that, they walk away easily with a Game 1 win. Couldn't do it, and it kept giving Indiana life. It just kept giving Indiana life. And as Tyrese Halliburton said after the game, boy, this team, if they're nothing else, they're resilient.
Through the course of the game, it kept getting, it felt like it could get ugly. Who knows where this game is heading. I thought we did a great job of just walking them down. When it gets to 15, you can panic, or you can talk about how do we get it to 10, how do we get it to 5, and from there. So, I think all series, that's what we've preached as a group is, when we get down big, let's just find a way to incrementally get it down. And it was at 15, and we got it to 8 pretty fast, and that gave us confidence. Kept getting stops, Miles and Andrew made big play after big play down the stretch. Miles got a wide open look on the wing, missed that one, but we just stuck with it. Andrew was huge down the stretch, and we got a big stop there, and they got a lot of confidence in me to make that shot. So I don't know what you say about it. I just know that this group is a resilient group, and we don't give up till it's 0.
Yeah, and look, they don't, and they've done that. Think about this. Now, this has got to be a record. 5 times in this postseason. Not all time. In this postseason, Indiana has come back down 15 to win a game. In this postseason, think about that. 5 times. That is incredible. That's why I don't understand the disrespect, because I don't know what else to call it, for the Indiana Pacers. Nobody giving them a chance in this series. Not one person. Well, there were a couple. Pardon me. On our YouTube page yesterday, there were some people that picked Indiana along with me, and I'm proud of you. So there are some out there that believe in the Indiana Pacers. What I think is a huge difference in this series is the coaching. I mean, let's think about it. Rick Carlisle is an experienced veteran head coach, and whatever adjustments he made at halftime last night were huge.
There were different areas. I mean, they were getting to the rim a lot in the first half. The turnovers were the first thing that we talked about. It seemed like we were doing a good job on the boards, but they had 20 more shots than we did in the first half. And so, that was really fool's gold too. And so, look, it was just, hit the reset button. Let's go whistle to whistle in the third quarter, try to chip away at it and try to hang in.
And that's exactly what they did. They stayed within shouting distance of OKC. And that was the beauty of last night. Because I'm watching the game. Obviously, in the long run, I really don't give a damn who wins this series. Although I'm kind of leaning toward the Pacers as we sit. But, game 2, I might have Oklahoma City. So that might change a little bit. Again, I have no interest in either one of these teams, honestly, other than watching good basketball. And I want a good series. Oklahoma City may very well win this series, and it would not surprise me. But I want a 6 or 7 game series, and with what happened last night, I think there's more of a chance of that happening now than maybe there was had Oklahoma City, won that game. Because look, if Indiana goes back home 0-2 in an 0-2 hole, then that's a problem. But that's not going to happen. I mean, the worst is going to happen. They're going to be 1-1. So it's interesting. But still, I just don't get the Indiana Pacer disrespect. Our colleague here, A.J. Hoffman, as I got on our group chat last night, and I said, man, those Pacers are tough. Well, he fired back, and the Pacers suck. Oklahoma City's going to win this in 5. And I said, wow. And I fired back. I said, I'll take that bet. And it was crickets. Nothing. Until he responded. He goes, well, I'm a little bitter because, well, I lost a lot of cash. So if you'd have just talked to me, AJ, I'd have set you straight, buddy. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I just, hey. No, I just felt like that was way too many points to give the Pacers either way, whether they win, lose, or draw. I just thought it was too much. So, but Oklahoma City has a habit of blowing people out. That is absolutely true. What do you guys think of the game? Do you think Indiana has a chance? Do you give them a chance, or do you think that was just a speed bump in the road to Oklahoma City's championship? 656-3776, 656-ESPN. Let's go to the phone lines now. Gabe, welcome to the Blitz.
What's going on, Joe? Happy Friday.
Thank you,
so
sir.
I'm kind of like you last night. I was watching the basketball game and not the softball. I was kind of keeping up, on the app, but I was just going to say, Indiana absolutely stole that game yesterday. I mean, OKC, was dominating that game the whole way through. But yesterday, I had placed an same-game parlay, the under 230, and then the Pacers plus the points. And then I heard you on the Blitz yesterday say that I think you had 2 of those straight bets, but both of those, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of made me feel a little bit better that you were on board with the same thing. And finally got a win, last night with that same game parlay. That was good. But I was setting pledge. Halliburton is just so fun to watch, and, he makes me get off my couch sometimes, and that doesn't happen very often, I mean, I get excited, but, man, Halliburton, he really just is exciting to watch, and I just love to see it. I don't know if the Pacers are going to win the series, but they're sure going to push it to 6 or 7, I think, no matter.
Wow, you see that, Gabe? No respect for the Pacers, none. How dare you, my friend? No, I appreciate the phone call, Gabe. Honestly, I do. Look, I'm with you. Look, I think Oklahoma City overall is the better team, right? They definitely have the best player in SGA. I don't think there's any question about that. But this Indiana team, they just feel like they have this feel of it's just their year. I mean, with 5 times coming back from 15 down, you can't say that every team, all 5 of those were choke jobs by the other team. I mean, if you say that you're just not accurate. I mean, that's a team that doesn't quit. They just don't care. I kind of liken it to a gnat flying around your face, and you just can't get rid of it. You swat it away, and it just keeps coming back. That's kind of Indiana right now. They're just irritating the hell out of everybody. And I guarantee you, if you're boss, or if you're any team that they beat in the East, they're saying, hey, man, we know exactly how you feel. This is what they do. They just hang around, and they get it done. And I just don't understand the disrespect. I don't. And maybe there's not as much of it as I think there is. Maybe it's I'm just thinking that. But I hear people, well, I mean, AJ's a perfect example. And I heard them talking this morning. They don't think that they think it was a fluke. They're not giving Indiana any chance to win this series. But I mean, I think you have to now. I mean, I don't see how you don't after what happened last night.
I mean, and y'all aren't doing any favors, I think, by saying Indiana stole game one.
No.
Because stole is not a connotation you use with being able to win a game convincingly, and stealing something makes it seem like you got away with something that you shouldn't have.
Right.
And so by saying you stole game one, that doesn't seem like it's replicable. You know, you can't make that happen consistently over and over again before getting caught or, in your fly analogy, swatted. And at some point, I don't expect Oklahoma City to miss a whole bunch of free throws or to not score off of the tons of turnovers they're creating. Like, all of these things are aberrations, it seems, as to how Indiana came back in this game.
Well, look, all you have to do is watch that game. They tried to give the game to Oklahoma City in the first half. Oklahoma City couldn't capitalize on that. Their defense is so good, and I'm talking about OKC. That defense is as solid as anything I've ever seen. I mean, they just attack, and they're good. But Indiana figured out a way, and all they had to do was stay within shouting distance. And that's what they do. That's what they do, and they wear you down, and they win at the end, and that's how they're playing. And, man, I give Rick Carlisle all the credit in the world. That guy is a hell of a coach, and he's got players that fit.
But we have seen through this playoffs, Oklahoma City is usually really good at taking those mistakes and making you pay for them winning by 40. They've done it consistently throughout this playoffs. Now, that was an aberration. They weren't able to pull away yesterday, but you can't continually make those same mistakes and expect to have a chance in this series, and that's the point I'm pointing out.
Well, OKC should have been up by 25 at halftime. They should have been. They should have been way ahead, and the game would have been over because Indiana turned the ball over enough, and Oklahoma City couldn't capitalize on it, and that's the problem. You've got to capitalize on it, and normally they do. But give Indiana some credit for that as well. And again, they come out of the halftime locker room and outplayed Oklahoma City in the second half. They did. I just got a nice text from our good friend Gillespie.
I saw it.
It's a big Boston Celtics fan, right?
They're sitting at home, aren't they?
Not sure why she's a Boston Celtics fan. That's kind of a flaw in her character, but that's all right. I get it. So now she's got.
That's the flaw?
Well, it's one of them. I love you, Gillespie. You know that. She's got a new logo here, and I don't know if this is going around Boston or what, but it says Boston Pacers, and it's got the little leprechaun all dressed up in Pacers gear, which is kind of cool, I guess. So it just tells me that I guess Celtic fans now are on the Pacer bandwagon. Is that how would you read that, Pledge?
I guess so.
Maybe
because they beat New York, who beat them.
I have no idea. Doesn't matter. Root for the Pacers. I'm going to root for them. Unless, of course, I bet on Oklahoma City in Game 2, then I'll be rooting for them there. We'll talk a lot more about this. In fact, I want to talk about Oklahoma City and Indiana and how they constructed their teams and how that's a perfect blueprint for your San Antonio Spurs. We'll talk about it when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, 2 games into the NBA Finals, 2 games into the Stanley Cup Final, and guess what? Mandatory workouts. NFL is upon us. All that, plenty more. Don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited-time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m., subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
April Ansira here from the Ansira Auto Group. Every year, the Texas Yes Project provides thousands of students across the state with free school supplies. And now you can help by entering the Drive Away for Education raffle, proudly sponsored by the Ancira Auto Group. One lucky winner will drive away in a brand new car, truck, or SUV, and countless young Texans will move forward with stronger futures. And we'll be giving away a gas card and shopping spree, plus other weekly prizes. Buy your raffle ticket today at texasyesproject.org.
In a world parched for excitement, Twisted Tea's your refreshing thrill ride of flavor. The hard iced tea that's smooth, made with real brewed tea and 5% alcohol. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. 783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
You talking about me?
Are you Hollywood Cole?
Oh, Cole. I thought he said Hollywood Joe. Maybe it was wishful thinking, huh? I don't know.
Maybe.
I was looking here to see if if my little app here has a line on that game. Yeah, they do already. The Thunder are -11 right now for Game 2 on Sunday. I wonder where that thing's going to go, because I would assume that most people are going to bet the Thunder, thinking they'll come back and respond after losing that game, and maybe Indiana just is happy. Problem for Indiana, if you've noticed in this series, I don't know how many Game 3s they've lost, but they've lost a bunch of Game 3s. So if they lose Game 2 and then go back to Indiana and lose Game 3, then obviously they're in trouble. So we'll see what happens. But right now, that line is the Thunder are -11. 228 is the total right now. It was 230 last night. I think it started at 231, came down to 230, and obviously it stayed under that. So they've adjusted a little bit, but it's going to be interesting to see how that line moves between now and Sunday at 7 o'clock when Game 2 tips off. This is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix has the day off. We're talking NBA basketball and the Pacers and the disrespect for the Pacers. And I want to talk about how those teams were built, because I think it's a perfect blueprint for how I would like to see, at least in some semblance, the San Antonio Spurs to rebuild. And so we'll see what happens. But before we do that, I want to go to Pacers 0-3 in Game 3s this year. So that they haven't played well in Game 3s, and most of the Game 3s have been at home, right? So I did see a video last night, Pledge, that they had a watch party in Indianapolis, and when that shot went in by Tyrese Halliburton. That place went absolutely nuts. You want to chime in, you can do so, 656-3776, 656-ESPN. Let's go to the phone lines. Don wants to chime in. Don, welcome to the Blitz.
Thank you. Listen, I just wanted to kind of reiterate some things about the Pacers. I listened to the show, the morning show y'all have, and those two jokers in the morning all last week were just saying how wasn't going to be much of a series. Indiana doesn't match up well with OKC, so dominant. They were talking about a 5-game series, maybe 6, I think Thompson said. But I don't know if they've been paying attention to this whole playoffs. The Pacers continue to just come back. They look like they're down and out. They always come back against Milwaukee, Boston. They did it again last night. I would say, I don't know if they're going to win it. I would be surprised if it doesn't go 7 at this point. OKC better go big, or the Pacers are going to keep running them out of the gym.
All right, Don, I agree with you, my friend. Thanks for the phone call. If you'd like to chime in, you can do so, 656-3776. 656-ESPN. You can also go to our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. You can comment there if you'd like and subscribe that page if you would, please. And if you want to chime in on Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it these days, at Joe Reinagel 210. He's right about that. I don't know what the fellas in the morning have said about that, but I'll take him for his word. But
I've said that.
Yeah, I've been telling everybody, don't count Indiana out. These guys, they're just too good, and they're too balanced, and they've got too much depth to just think that Oklahoma City was going to run over them. And matchups, I think they matched up pretty well last night. And one guy in particular, Miles Turner, just crushed Chet Holmgren.
But how did the Spurs get to where the Pacers and Thunder are at?
Well, that's a good question, Pledge, and I'm happy that you asked that. That's a damn good question, my friend. Let's see how we get there, because I did some research. Now, look, I didn't go through the whole roster, and I probably should, and maybe I'll do that on Monday. But I went with just the leading scorers from last night's game, okay, for both teams and how they were assembled. Obviously, Tyrese Halliburton came to Indiana via a trade. Okay, the Pacers traded for Halliburton, got him there. Pascal Siakam, everybody knows him. He played with number 2 in Toronto. They won a championship in Toronto. Pascal Siakam was a part of that. Well, guess what? He's no longer in Toronto. He's in Indiana. So that must mean that Indiana traded for Pascal Siakam. Now, Miles Turner, the Pacers drafted him back in 2015, 2016. He's been there a long time, 10 years or so for Miles Turner. So that was through the draft. Obi Toppin, I believe he was drafted by the New York Knicks, if I'm not mistaken.
He was.
Well, he's no longer a Knick, is he? So that means they must have traded for that guy. And
Aaron Nesmith.
Aaron Nesmith, I believe, was traded to the Pacers as well.
From Boston.
So
they did draft Benedict Mathurin.
Yeah, they did. I remember that. I remember that. I was just all I went was with the leading scorers in this, and I'll do the whole list so we can compare apples to apples. I wanted to do that, but this morning, I didn't want to work that hard, so I just did the leading scorers and looked them all up. So of the 5 leading scorers for the Indiana Pacers, 4 of them came to the Pacers via trade. Okay? I know it's an ugly word around San Antonio, but they came via trade. Okay? Oklahoma City. Their leading scorer last night was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He came to Oklahoma City via a trade. And look, granted, when he got to Oklahoma City, nobody knew that he was going to be SGA, the SGA that he is now. Okay? They didn't know that, but he's turned into that. Lou Dort was a problem last night. He made some 3-pointers, and he played well. He came to the Thunder via free agency. Then there's that guy, Alex Caruso, who, he won a championship with the LA Lakers, if you want to call it a championship. It was in the bubble. I don't know. You can call it a championship if you want to. It was that bubble thing that, anyway, he won a championship with the Lakers. Well, guess what? He's no longer a Laker, so I guess Oklahoma City got him via trade. And he's playing well for them. Then you look at Isaiah Hartenstein, who, if I recall, was a New York Knick last year and became a free agent. So the Oklahoma City Thunder picked him up via free agency. Now, I could go through and look at everybody else And again, I will do that. But just the leading scores from last night. And when you look at this, there's only one guy on there who was drafted and developed, and that's Miles Turner. Everybody else came to those teams via either trade or through free agency. And all of these guys, nobody knew. And when I say SGA, nobody knew he was going to be SGA. They didn't. Nobody knew that. So he became that. Sometimes you got to take a chance. But when you look at these names, with the exception of maybe Siakam, because Siakam won a championship in Toronto and is a good player. So they knew what they were getting in Siakam. Look, the Pacers didn't know what they were getting in Halliburton. And Obi Toppin, the Knicks gave up on him pretty early, right? So they traded him away. So you didn't really know. But he's turned out to be a hell of a player. All I'm saying is, my point in all of this ranting and this research, this in-depth research that I did, was to say this is how I would like to see the Spurs develop their team.
So you're saying you want them to trade Wemby and Castle for other players?
That's not what I'm saying. Now, I know that Paul George was a big part of both of these teams, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are players out there that fill a role, fill a need. You don't need to go out and spend everything you have on a Giannis or a Kevin Durant or any other big-time superstar. Now, those would be nice, but you don't have to do that. You can go out and do what Indiana has done, what Oklahoma City has done, and either trade for or the free agent market, get players that fill a need, because every one of those players fill a need. Pascal Siakam was a need for Indiana, so they went out and got him. Obi Toppin, a need for Indiana, and they went out and got him. Tyrese Halliburton, a need. They went out and got him. And again, these guys weren't superstars other than Siakam, and I'll give you that. But other than Siakam, they weren't big-name players. You didn't hear about them. SGA was not a big-name player when he came to Oklahoma City. Go out and get players that you think can fill a need for this Spurs team, and you hope that you can develop them into the players that they are. Look, I will guarantee you, there is not, and if you tell me different, you're lying. And I would just say that to your face. Nobody thought Manu Ginobili was going to be Manu Ginobili. Nobody when he was drafted at, 58? I mean, it was high in the second round.
How dare you test my basketball IQ?
I'm just saying, but he turned into what he turned into. Tony Parker. Anybody think he was going to turn into something? The Spurs had a point guard by the name of Antonio Daniels when they drafted Tony Parker.
Spurs quartered Jason Kidd.
They did. They did. And you know what? We thank God for unanswered prayers, right? And that's what happened, although Kidd would have been fine. But Tony Parker turned out to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, and he did. And it turned out to be pretty good. So you had Tim Duncan, you had Manu Ginobili, you had Tony Parker. Spurs have Wemby, Stephon Castle, and De'Aaron Fox. So what did Pop and company do back in those days from 1999 to 2014 when they were a dynasty? Care what anybody says, that team was a dynasty, and they just were. Okay? So they went out and they put players around those guys that filled a need. It's what they did. And so to me, you've got your foundation now. If you want to go with Steph Castle, and Rookie of the Year, great player, and I hope he continues to develop, and all signs say that he will. Go out and find players now that fit with those guys. Because I'm not quite sure, and again, and I say this, it's kind of like, with all due respect, I love Devin Vassell. And I've been a big fan of Devin Vassell and wanted him to succeed. But I don't think Vassell knows how to play a role. I think Vassell needs to be the guy or one of the guys. And on this particular team, he's not going to be, because you got the other three guys that we just said. Now, if he could fill a role, that's fantastic. That would be great, but I'm just not sure he's capable of doing that. Keldon Johnson showed that he could do that last year. They moved him to the bench. He came off as a sixth man, and that role was perfect for him. And he adjusted to it, and he did well. Jeremy Sohan, I don't know where we go with him, and I'm not sure. Spurs, I think, will. And it gives me hope. It gives me hope that they went out and they made the deal for De'Aaron Fox. That gives me hope that they are trying to do that. They put their piece there. De'Aaron Fox was what they needed. They knew Chris Paul was not a long-term solution. They needed a point guard, and they went out and got one. And now if Castle can be that other guy, he can also play point guard as well. But if he can be the two, you got Wemby that can play any position, and then you go out and fill what you need. You need a shooter, a consistent shooter that can play some defense, and you need a big man. And I think the Spurs will do that, and I'm hoping that that's what they do. I know all this talk about Kevin Durant and Giannis is exciting. It excites fans, but I just don't think it's necessary at this point. I just don't. And I think they can find guys, and I know everybody thinks that I'm Cam Johnson's agent, but
I'm with you.
That kind of a guy that people think, maybe he turns into a star, maybe he doesn't, but the guy can shoot. I mean, I don't think anybody can argue that.
Defense.
Yes. Those are the types. If it's not him, there are guys like that out there.
Herb Jones, Trey Murphy.
Yes.
There's a litany of guys across the league that can fill that role that you could potentially go find. And I look at it, and look at those Spurs. You mentioned the dynasty of the Spurs.
Uh-huh.
When they had the pieces in place, David, Tim, Tony, Manu, no matter who the pieces were, the pieces that changed around were all the same type of guys. You had Steve Kerr, you had Brent Barry, you had Devin Neal, you had shooters that played defense, Bruce
Robert
Bowen,
Horry.
Danny Green.
Yeah.
Like those were the guys surrounding them.
Yes.
And then you also had the guy protecting Tim in the paint. You had Rasho Nesterovic, you had Malik Rose, you had, those guys down low, Will Purdue a point in time.
Yep.
Like those guys down low protecting Tim Duncan and shooters surrounding the other players you had.
That's exactly right, Pledge. And that blueprint is the same blueprint. Remember, Sam Presti was around the Spurs at that time. You don't think he just learned that, right? And when he got to Oklahoma City, he's like, oh, man, I don't, why were we not doing this? He was. Sam Presti learned from the Spurs. And he's a hell of a GM. And that's the blueprint. And that's what he's doing. He's not doing anything different than the Spurs did back in those dynasty years. It's exactly what you do. And so I just think Spurs are never going to be in a better position than they are right now. But if you go out and find guys like that, if you're dead set on keeping some of this draft capital, guess what? You can. Everybody wants to keep the number 2 pick. Guess what? With the scenario that I'm painting, you can. And you will, most likely. But you go out and get a Kevin Durant or a Giannis, adios, number 2. And I'm not talking about Kawhi. I'm just saying that's going to come with it. So I point this out to say that the Spurs blueprint back in the dynasty years was exactly what Indiana and Oklahoma City are doing. That's exactly right. And so hopefully, and I have every confidence that this will happen this offseason, the Spurs go out and find players that fill needs around what we right now perceive as their foundation in Castle, Fox, and Wembanyama. And I hope that that is the case. We can only hope, right?
I'm going to throw something out there. It's something I thought about the other day.
Please do.
Devin Vassell.
Yes.
You can move him. You can keep 2. You can draft Dylan Harper to be, that spark off the bench and lead that second unit and be everything that he needs to be. If you trade Devin Vassell potentially to, I don't know, say Utah for maybe a John Collins, a guy on an expiring deal, same amount of money. He's a big 4, can play down low, also spaces the floor.
Mm-hmm. I think there's all kinds of scenarios. I mean, obviously, Lauri Markkanen is another one that's expensive.
But that's a big money one. Look, there are options out there for the Spurs. There's a lot of guys out there. We could go through a whole list of potential free agents, potential trades that's out there. And I know the Spurs are looking at it. I know that they are because that's what they do, and that's what they've done in the past. Draft and develop hasn't been their blueprint, although except for the big 3, right? They drafted those guys, but they filled in other places.
And they've done the same thing with Wemby and Castle. Now fill in other places. Let's hope, and we'll see what the Spurs organization, the Spurs brass, does to get this team back to prominence, because I don't want to wait for Oklahoma City to cool off. I want it now. And I think the Spurs are in a prime position to get it done, and get it done right now. All right, I'm late for a break. When we come back, the UTSA Roadrunners, well, they're in the Super Regional up in UCLA. But instead of talking baseball, we're talking stadiums. I wonder why that is. Well, we'll talk about it when we continue here on the Blitz. First, though, I want to tell you, Coheed and Cambria are coming to the Moody Amphitheater. They're coming on, September 9th. And if you would like to go to the Moody Center and see these fine folks, then you are more than welcome to give us a call here at 656-3776, 656 ESPN. It is Live Nation's $30 ticket to summer at the Germania Insurance Amphitheater. That's where it is, not the Moody Center. Well, it is the Moody Amphitheater. I don't know where the hell it is. If you want to go,
Moody.
All right, it's at the Moody. You can win a pair of tickets to see Coheed and Cambria September the 9th live at the Moody Amphitheater. As always, if you don't win today, you can get your tickets at livenation.com. We'll say caller number 9 right now will win those tickets to go see Coheed and Cambria. 656-3776, 656-ESPN.
You're riding with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007. School's out, summer's in, and that vacation countdown is officially on. But what about your four-legged MVP? Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuit in Selma has your furry family member covered. Daycare, boarding, grooming, and training, they've got it all. They're built for your pet's health, happiness, and tail-wagging good times. If you're in the military, your teacher, or your first responder, they've got barking good exclusive discounts. So go ahead, book that trip, hit the beach, crush your summer plans. Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuit has your pet in good hands. Because home away from home isn't just for humans. Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuits in Selma.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Does this sound like your marriage? Wake up and realize that there's a better life waiting. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. At Barton & Associates, we specialize in navigating the complexities of divorce law, protecting your best interests, and ensuring you're not left vulnerable. Divorce is tough, but here's the thing. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control of the process and secure your future. If you're serious about protecting yourself and securing your financial future, Barton & Associates is the team you need. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-MILLION. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. If you're tired of this, then start your better life today with Barton & Associates. Visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
Father's Day kicks off early Saturday, June 14th at Lion and Rose Dominion, hosted by Marissa Gomez, realtor with Real Broker. If you know a dad who deserves some extra love, bring him out for family fun, live music, and delicious food and drinks. Enjoy free experiences like cigar rolling, mini spa treatments, and prize drawings. There's always something special happening at Lion and Rose. It's Saturday, June 14th from 3 to 7 p.m. for the Father's Day kickoff at Lion and Rose, just off I-10 West past the Dominion exit.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
There is a winner-take-all Game 3 tonight in Oklahoma City for the title. The Texas Tech Red Raiders held off the Texas Longhorns' late rally last night, winning 4-3. That forced tonight's decisive Game 3 for the championship. It all starts at 7 o'clock on ESPN. Sad news, Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman Tom Rafferty died yesterday at the age of 70. He played and won a Super Bowl for the Cowboys in 77.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
And congratulations, everybody. If you're getting off at 5 o'clock, well, you made it. It is Friday. The weekend is here. Congrats. Pledge and I still have an hour. You may have longer than that. You got a show tonight, Pledge? Yeah? All right.
Full show.
Full show. A full hour of James Pledger coming. Kendrick Perkins, what the hell is he wearing?
Looks like a cowboy hat.
I'm looking at
it's a suit with a cowboy hat.
The monitor in there. He looks pretty good in the cowboy hat. Kendrick Perkins is on talking about last night's game, and he's got a cowboy hat on. He looks pretty good in that thing.
He does.
Yeah, not
like,
bad.
You're like, what the hell is he wearing? And turn around. I was like, I see that at least 30 times a day when I go to a fancy function anywhere here in Texas.
I guess so. I've never seen Perk wear a cowboy hat before. That's kind of crazy. Oh, we got everybody in cowboy hats now. What's happening? Is that Drew Brees? I don't know who that is.
I think that's Tim McMahon.
It's great radio for all of you driving around out there. Sorry about that.
But remember, he's from Oklahoma City.
Oh.
Like, he played for the Thunder during, the Durant, Ibaka,
Yep.
Perkins, Russell Westbrook, James Harden years. Like, there's not a lot to do there. I kind of guess you might
in Oklahoma City
acclimate to the culture that's there.
Oh, the fine folks. I'm sure the folks in Oklahoma City are nice, although they tried to copy our Riverwalk, which they didn't do a very good job. Nice little area there, but it's like, this is a Riverwalk. It's more like a creek. I mean, honestly,
to be fair, ours isn't very big either.
Well, ours is, because it goes a long way. Theirs is kind of like in just a restricted area. So it's just like a stream running through a little bit of downtown. So it's not
because when you say creek, I'm like, it's not like you can probably in a lot of places stand up.
It's a cement creek. That's what it is. It's a cement creek in OKC. It's a nice area, though. We'll say it's a nice area. They got a minor league ballpark right there.
Would it be considered a crick?
Crick, yeah. Well, in OKC it is. Ding, 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 ding. I'm sure they're fine folks in Oklahoma City.
Oh, I'm sure. We should ask Dax.
Yeah, that's right, Dax. Our boss used to run a station there in OKC. One of the best sports stations in the country, by the way. So we'll see. Havoc80 on our YouTube page says Bricktown sucks. I don't know. I thought it was a decent area. I mean, I've been there a couple of times. It's not. I love how they have their minor league ballpark though right there downtown. You got the arena over there as well, and I'm assuming when they build the new arena, it's going to be in the same area somewhere too. So I don't know. OKC's an okay place.
I mean, it's different strokes for different folks,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
I enjoyed New York City and Chicago. I also really enjoyed Birmingham, Alabama, for whatever reason. There was it was a cool little downtown vibe.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
there are different things, and everybody's like, Alabama. And I had a horrible version of Alabama painted in my head as I was going there, and I'm thinking to myself,
why the hell did you do that? Oh, I see. I thought you said somebody painted Alabama in your head.
No. I had a horrible version of Alabama painted in my own head that, very much embodied.
Well, of course. You got Arkansas.
But
Mississippi.
It was fun. It was beautiful.
No,
and
I jest, obviously. I mean, there are a lot of these places that are fun. We go to Gulfport, Mississippi. I love going there. The casino there is fantastic, and it's pretty. The water, they're right there on the the Gulf of America now.
Gulfport. At the exit of the Gulf of it's
right
the
there,
Mississippi.
yeah, right there. So they've got a nice casino that we go to there. So it's a fun place, and the people are nice. So I jest, but it's fun to think of those people. They probably think of us here in Texas the same way.
Well, yeah, everybody thinks we wear cowboy hats and ride cows to work, and
we don't. My cow's right outside, Pledge.
Mine's in the shop.
Yours in the shop. Yeah, stop milking that thing so hard. You're pumping that thing with that right hand. You got to be careful.
Did I want to ride to work or did I want dinner?
Well,
some of us had to make some tough choices.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of tough choices, the UTSA Roadrunners are playing at a Super Regional beginning tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Tomorrow night on it's on ESPNU, for goodness sake. Is that where that thing is?
That is correct.
At 6 o'clock, playing UCLA. And there's a lot on the line here for the Roadrunners. If they can beat UCLA 2 games, they're headed off to the College World Series. Can you imagine? And I hope, beyond all hope, that they get there. I really do. Now, look, they're obviously a good team. They beat Texas twice last weekend, and they also beat Kansas State, who is no slouch. So they beat 2 big schools, and the University of Texas, they actually beat them 3 times this year.
3 times. They're 3-0 against the Longhorns.
That's incredible. Because that's a good baseball team. There's no question about that. But they're facing another good baseball team in UCLA this coming weekend. And again, game 1 is tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Be a good one for them to get, obviously. But Pat Hallmark, the coach of the Roadrunners, he did a I don't want to say a press conference, but it was a Zoom call. Yeah, for local guys here and for the reporters that cover the UTSA Roadrunners on a regular basis. And something was brought up, and we had Coach Hallmark on last Tuesday, and we were talking about a new stadium. And it all started with, look, if the Super Regionals would have been here, there's no where would you play that game? The NCAA won't allow them to play that game in the stadium or the field that the Roadrunners play on currently. It's just not up to par. It wouldn't work, so they couldn't do that there. The Missions are home this weekend, so it would have been a real pain in the butt to try and make that schedule and figure that out. I'm sure something could have been worked out, but the bottom line is they couldn't do that at UTSA, and Coach Hallmark was very specific with us about the need for new facilities. Well, he was very specific today on this Zoom call about the success that the Roadrunners are having should spur stadium upgrade talk.
It's a bigger deal than I anticipated. Not that I knew we were going to be here, but I knew we had a good team. I knew we had a shot when we officially got into the regional. But a lot of people are reaching out. At the stadium, we had the people greet us when we got back, and then we had the send off. And a lot of those people are pulling me aside, talking about a new stadium, and I've not heard that from UTSA. I'm not saying that, but I've never heard that from anyone ever in the city, from nobody. And I think people realize now we need it. What we're doing this year does not have to be an anomaly. I'm not ready to say we can do it every single year, but we can do this more than not. This can become the goal every year instead of some huge deal like, oh my God, look what we did. It doesn't have to be that. So I'm ready to talk about this stadium as much as anybody wants to talk about it because I want to stay in San Antonio.
Wow, that's that ending of that ending, because I want to stay in San Antonio. That is that was interesting when he said that, and he also talked about getting players here. He told us that having a new facility is more important to him right now than having NIL dollars, which I thought was fascinating because, look, you bring a recruit to UTSA to play baseball and you go show him the baseball field, it doesn't make a good impression, all right? And, again, it's a complicated thing, and there are a lot of different ins and outs to all of this, but the bottom line is they need the facilities. If you're having success in sports, you need to upgrade the facilities. How do they do that? Well, that's a different question altogether. All right, we're going to talk Dallas Cowboys football when we come back. Our weekly visit with our good friend John Machota from The Athletic. He will join us next here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You know, the Golf Club of Texas would be a perfect place to be right now, or perhaps tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, Monday morning, Monday afternoon. Doesn't make any difference. It's always a good place to be. Go out and play some golf. Get out there and do it. Look, we live in San Antonio, South Texas, Central Texas. That's what we do. We get out in the heat. We play. That really doesn't matter. And if you go out to the Golf Club of Texas, especially if you haven't been there in a while, the changes they have made to that golf course are second to none. Brand new golf cart paths all over that golf course, every bit of them. Brand new. They've resodded all over the golf course, and they put in these xeriscape things that just add beauty to the golf course. It's really a cool deal, and they just kind of accent everything. Not to mention the fact that they got these schwanky new tee box markers that are really kind of cool. They've upgraded this place, it's unbelievable, the money they've spent out there to make it a better place for you to get out and play golf. And in fact, you probably think it's a country club when you walk out there. It's not, though. It's open 7 days a week to the public, and so it doesn't have to be on the weekend to go play golf. If you can get out there on a Monday, you can go play. A Wednesday, Tuesday, whatever day you want to get out there, they'll be ready for you at the Golf Club of Texas. And you talk about the 10 Cup Bar and Grill out there. It is a perfect place to go have lunch or go have drinks after your round, before your round, all of the above. The food out there is fantastic. They've got every kind of beer you can imagine and any kind of cocktail you can imagine. It's an awesome place to be, whether before, after, during, whatever you want out there. They're going to take care of you at the Golf Club of Texas. And look, you know exactly where it is. It's not hard to find. It's right there off Briggs Ranch Road off Highway 90. Whether you're headed out for dinner at the 10 Cup or round with your buddies, how about your next tournament? You can have it out there. We do. Go check them out. Best rates are always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas is the friendliest golf course in Texas.
The Morning Huddle.
I went through it, and they told me no one time.
They would never tell me no.
Oh, they will. Trust me.
Are you crazy? You think I'm an unfit cat parent?
You just had one die on you.
You son of a bitch.
Of the two cats you've had, one of them's dead.
How dare you?
You're batting 500.
How dare you?
I'm just saying.
You want to bring up the time that a coyote ran off with your puppy?
That's been years ago.
But did it happen?
That was a puppy. I didn't say puppy. I'm just talking cat right here.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. This Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening this Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start June 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney and have been representing people injured in auto and commercial truck collisions right here in San Antonio, my hometown, since 1994. Getting into a collision can be a life-altering event. Your health and recovery is the only thing that really matters, and anyone that's ever been injured in a traffic collision will tell you that. How do you get the insurance company to pay? Simple. Call me. As your attorney, my job is to get you through this. The decisions you make immediately after a collision are the most important decisions you can make. If you call me as soon as you can after a collision, I will help you make the right decisions for you and your family. Remember, I do not charge for a consultation. Growing up on the southwest side of San Antonio, when Loop 410 was the edge of town, I know how overwhelming it could be to face a giant insurance company all on your own. Just keep it simple. Call me. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 900-0400. Or go to my website at lawyerforus.com.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
That's good music to get you ready for your weekend, without a doubt. Happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for spending some time with us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix, well, he playing hooky today on a Friday, having a long weekend. But thank goodness for us that our good friend John Machota is not from The Athletic, joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. John, well, happy Friday to you first and foremost, my friend. And you've been working hard with the Cowboys in their OTAs.
There's some good access that we're getting right now, better than, I guess, nothing. Next week will be big, though, because that's mini camp. We'll be out there for 3 straight days as opposed to right now, just 1 day a week. And, you can get a little bit, seeing where some guys are lining up and stuff like that, but it's not anything crazy where there's anything major that jumps out to you other than really just the attendance, who's there and who's not.
Well, John, that brings up a good point because I say this all the time, and look, and not to disparage anybody, but it's OTAs. And you get these, well, this guy looked good, and this guy, he made this, and it's hard for me to judge when they're out there in OTAs. It's kind of like being in your street playing football a little bit.
No, it really is. I mean, that's one of the biggest thing for this Cowboys team where it's tough to see anything is that at the running back position, you can't really evaluate very much right now without having any pads on, without hitting. And that's not just the Cowboys, that's all teams. I mean, they don't want, the last thing these coaches want are guys even going to the ground. Like, the coaches are upset if you go to the ground. The Cowboys website put out a video today where Brian Schottenheimer was mic'd up in one of their recent practices, and I think it was a run play, but you can hear him yelling, stay up to everybody. He doesn't want anybody going down. I mean, that's the last thing you want is an injury right now. So that's probably the biggest thing, is to get through this thing, learn some of the new things that your new coaches want, some of the tweaks that you're going to make on offense, and obviously the changes on defense, and then so you can hit the ground running when they get to Oxnard in mid-July.
John Machota with The Athletic joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. John, obviously the big story is, and it's going to continue to be, is Micah Parsons. showed up for photo day, I know, with one of the OTAs, and says he's going to be at the mandatory minicamp next week. Are you buying that? Do you think he will be?
I do. I think that he'll be there for that, and then that gives the Cowboys and his people a month to work out a contract. And if that doesn't happen, though, it'll be interesting to see if he's there at the start of training camp. But I do think because the reason why I do think he'll be there is because this is around the time when you would think between now and training camp starting where you would kind of be able to hammer home a deal. And the Cowboys have been open about saying they want more leadership from Micah, and that, Jerry had said that at the most recent owner meetings, that's how he wanted to see more of that from Micah before, giving him this huge deal and stuff like that. So I think it makes sense for Micah to be there for this mandatory minicamp. But now if we're a month away from now and there's still nothing done and there's no real progress, that's the issue that you get into is then, well, is he not on the plane out to Oxnard?
Yeah, that is a problem. And with the mandatory minicamp, John, and educate me if you will, there won't be a lot of hitting taking place in that either. And either way, do you think Micah will be a part of anything, or will he just show up?
It's a good question. It will be very similar to what OTAs are. They won't be in pads or anything. There won't be any hitting, but there is a difference between, for example, the OTA practice they had earlier this week. CeeDee Lamb didn't participate in the drills, but he was still out there with the wide receiver group and moving around and doing things like that. I think he just had an off day. And so it could be like that for Micah, where he's not really doing much, but he's around and he's picking up on some of the things that Matt Eberflus wants to do and things that he wants to use them in and stuff like that. And maybe it is one of those things where he doesn't fully participate, but I certainly think there's a good bet that he's going to be in the building.
John Machota with The Athletic joining us here on the Blitz. And John, when you look at Eberflus and you bring him up, obviously a new defensive coordinator, from what you're hearing, I mean, obviously I think Micah wants to be there to see what kind of schemes. Is it that much different than what was happening last year with Zimmer?
From what I've seen and hear right now, I wouldn't say anything major. But then again, I don't know that I would say there's anything really major difference throughout the whole NFL. I mean, it becomes more of a copycat league every year. As soon as some team does something else that works well, your team's bringing it in some way. I mean, not that long ago, there really was a difference between a 3-4 and a 4-3 front, and now it's like every team does a little bit of both those things. I mean, Micah Parsons is a great example of that. He kind of is more of a 3-4 outside linebacker, but he kind of rushes the edge like a 4-3 defensive end, And so I don't think there'll be any major changes from that perspective, but I am interested to see once we get out to Oxnard just how they look in the middle of that defense at linebacker, at defensive tackle, and particularly when it comes to stopping the run. I mean, Eberflus is confident in all the jobs he's had in the past that his team's been able to take the ball away and stop the run. And before he got here, they were able to take the ball away, but they were not able to stop the run. And so I'm fascinated. That's the thing I'm going to have my eyes on the most is how does he plan on doing that? Because his track record does speak for itself.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. John, let me ask you this, because I know you guys were able to talk with Stephen Jones this week, and he was asked about the Jalen Ramsey rumors. I know he didn't comment on it, wasn't going to, but do you think there's anything to that? Is that a possibility, do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't completely rule it out. I was joking around with some other reporters about how it was interesting how he goes, no, he plays for the Dolphins. So it was one of those things where it's like, well, it is fresh on his mind. He's very familiar with where Jalen Ramsey's at. And the only reason I say that is because I could see even some pretty hardcore football fans not knowing for sure where he's at right now just because you don't think of him as being with Miami Dolphins. And so obviously he's been in the news because it looks like he's going to get moved. And so I think the Cowboys could be in play. The part that would be tough for them is paying the large part of his salary because he is one of the highest paid corners. And the reason I say that is because they're already paying Trayvon Diggs, and they do want to keep Deron Bland. And so I think that part where it's like with George Pickens, you don't have to worry about that stuff because he's in the final of the year of his deal. And so that's what makes it a little bit more difficult with a guy like Jalen Ramsey. But if they can figure something out, that makes a ton of sense because as we sit here today, to me, corner is the biggest question mark they have of any position group on the team.
Yeah, you would have to imagine if it's not Ramsey that they've got to go out and find some help somewhere, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. until Stephon Gilmore signs with another team, I always have him in the back of my mind as a possibility because he's a veteran that you really, if he shows up early in camp, he knows how to get himself ready. There's not going to be much that you can throw at him that he hasn't seen before. And so that's the one guy that I keep an eye on there because he has familiarity with the organization. He has familiarity with the front office. And so because of that, that's the one name. Until he signs somewhere else or officially says that he's retired, I keep thinking that he might be a possibility. And I can see why they would wait, too, because they probably want to find out a little bit more about where Diggs is at exactly, and they probably want to see a little bit more of Ravel and what he can do in practice. He's been working off on the cords on the side during these OTA practices. So, I mean, that's the thing. With Savon Ravel, if he doesn't have the knee injury, he could potentially be a late first-round pick, but he falls to them in the third. And so will he be ready at the start of the season? He could be, but he's also a rookie corner, and so there's going to be some hiccups there probably, a little bit of growing pains. And then, but after him, it's like you're going to have to expect a lot out of Kyrie Elam and possibly Kalen Carson and maybe even Andrew Booth. And so, you feel good about Deron Bland, but you need 3-4 good corners to play in the NFL on Sunday. So I can't see that them being completely settled with where they're at right now.
Well, it's going to be interesting. John Machota with The Athletic joining us here on the Blitz. And you bring up Trayvon Diggs. It sounded like the Cowboys weren't happy that he wasn't at OTAs and he's working out in Miami. Do you get that feeling that they'd rather have him there in Frisco?
They definitely would rather have him in Frisco. But I will say when Steven was asked about it, he was asked a couple different questions in a couple different ways, and I never got the sense that there was any frustration there about it. He did say he would prefer for him to be, at the Star, and I think that's pretty obvious because, let's be honest, when you look around and you hear about all the positivity of this new coaching staff and Brian Schottenheimer, and you just look at the attendance and everybody's there except for Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs, and Micah obviously for the contract situation, it doesn't look great for you because it's not like there aren't other guys that are coming back from injuries that are working out with the team. The Marvion Overshone, for one, is out there and doing that stuff. And so that's what's interesting to me. And the other part of it for me is I think they would prefer him to be working around with the team for several reasons. But then there's also the part of what are you going to do when we get to Oxnard? You're not going to go fly back out to Miami and work out with your guys there. You're going to have to rehab with the guys that are, on the staff right now anyway. So why not just get that going right now and everybody can be on the same page? So I guess you could say some frustration. I didn't sense that from Steven, but maybe behind closed doors, they might feel a little bit of frustration about it.
Now, will the Cowboys actually fine him? Because I read somewhere that he could be fined $500,000. Is that accurate?
Yeah, no, that potentially could happen, and that's one of those things where that's why I would anticipate him being at all of the mandatory minicamp next week, and I would anticipate him being there for the very start of training camp and all that stuff like that, because certainly he's not going to want to lose that money. But yeah, absolutely, if he's not there for those amount of the time that he's supposed to be, that's in his contract, that percentage, then yeah, they absolutely will fine him. And I mean, to be honest with you, it kind of goes back to what Jerry said at that last owners meeting in Florida when he talked to us about how, I feel like 60% of the questions we asked him, maybe more, were about Micah at the time in his contract. And he brought up how he's like, well, even if I get a contract done, what does that mean? He's like, there's contracts of guys down on the team, and that doesn't mean they're not going to hold out if they play really well or they feel like they're underpaid. And he was referencing Zach Martin from a couple of years ago and not being at the beginning of training camp because he wanted to get a little pay bump here at the end of his career. But you can, when he's saying that, and you think of it now, you're like, well, it kind of fits with Trayvon too. They gave him a new contract. He's under contract, and you want him rehabbing. You want him at the facility with this new coaching staff, and he's not there. So as much as Jerry waits too long on some of their top contracts, I'm not going to sit here and act like he doesn't make some good points about, his side of negotiations.
Well, I'll tell you, Jerry is Jerry, that's for sure. John Machota with The Athletic joining us here on the Blitz. And talking with Steven, we played a soundbite today, and I want to get your take on this. You have to listen just a little bit, because it sounds to me like Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy were thrown under the bus a little bit.
I think, changing it up's a good thing. Nothing but respect for Coach McCarthy and Coach Garrett and what they've brought in the past. But, we're always looking for a way to get better because, we've got to take this thing to the next level, which is not only we got to get in the playoffs to start with, but once you're there, obviously we hadn't had the success that we want to have. And if
I don't know. I mean, I guess you can interpret it that way, but it just sounds like you got to get to the playoffs first before you can have success. McCarthy did that last year. I'm not sure that it was his fault.
Yeah, I think Stephen was kind of in a position there where he's got to say something positive about this new head coach hire. I mean, we can't really prove anything on the field yet, and so obviously the culture side of it has been the thing that has stood out most. And Schottenheimer does fit with more and more of these younger coaches that are coming in the league, where it's like they're not the same coaches as we saw in the 90s and 80s and before, where they're almost like another one of the guys, and so he fits that mold probably more than the last two guys. And so maybe that's what he's referring to a little bit, but I never, and I've said this multiple times since the hire, like I do think the culture is very good. And I think that he's building a really good group and a base for all the new guys that have come in. But I've never really felt like the culture was so bad that that's the number one thing that needed to change. It's how do you get better in January? That's the thing. I mean, we've seen, if you want to go back to Garrett, we've seen 2014, and it looks like you're on this magical ride, stalls in the playoffs. We've seen 2016 with Jason Garrett, Dak's rookie year. It looks like you're on this magical ride, stalls in the playoffs. And then with Mike McCarthy, 3 consecutive 12-win seasons, and to me, the 2023 one, to me, that's their best team of the last 15 years.
Yes.
And it looked like everything was setting up for them, and then what happens? They get home field advantage, and it looks like that they're perfect, and they lay the egg of all eggs and maybe the worst loss in Cowboys franchise history in the playoffs to the Packers. So it's like, what you do now, that's great and all, but like, how can you do something that's going to get you playing better in January? And I don't think anybody knows for sure.
Well, I don't think anybody does either. We joke, Jason and I, that Schottenheimer won the month of May, that's for sure, and he's on a winning streak into June, but it counts with what happens once the season begins, that's for sure. John Machota with The Athletic. I have one more question for you, John. George Pickens and Dante Fowler changed numbers. Was there any money exchanged in that change?
You know what? From what I heard, there wasn't. I thought for sure that would be the case, but from what I've heard, that wasn't it. That George just kind of went to Dante, and he was cool with it. So maybe they're both just saying that because they don't want to reveal a number or a automobile or I don't know. Something that switched hands. But I mean, we all know. I mean, those stories get out there. It's a lot of money that exchanged hands when you switch for one of those numbers like that. Like it doesn't go very cheap. So if Dante Fowler did that, then hey, that's a great teammate to just give that up because there's certainly money to be made there. But from what I've heard, that's what happened. It wasn't hey, let me start going through the single digit number, guys, and let me see what best offer I can get. It doesn't sound like that's what happened.
Wow, that's interesting, and you're right. Very unusual these days in the NFL for that to happen. John Machota with The Athletic. Follow him on X at John Machota, Jon, and subscribe to The Athletic. A lot of great stuff at The Athletic. John, we appreciate it, man. Have a great weekend.
All right, you do the same. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it. John Machota joining us via the Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. Always something to talk about when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. It is amazing to me, and I'm not sure any other team has that. Now, we don't cover the Houston Texans as closely as we do the Dallas Cowboys, but I can't imagine, other than C.J. Stroud's shoulder, which still baffles me, you don't have the drama that you have with the Dallas Cowboys on a day-in and day-out basis.
As you well know, from whether it's covering the San Antonio Spurs to the Dallas Cowboys to wherever it is, if you follow a team closely enough, that drama is always there under the surface.
I guess so. And I guess there are some other teams that would probably have that drama if you covered them closely on a regular basis. But I love covering the Dallas Cowboys. I will tell you that. Always something to talk about. That is for sure. Boy, I tell you, thanks to John Machota. We appreciate him joining us here today. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to recap just a little bit about some of the highlights of the NBA playoffs and what happened in Game 1 and my love now for the Indiana Pacers. my eternal love for them until, game 2, and maybe I have a bet on Oklahoma City. I don't know, but at least for the next 2 days, go Pacers! We're talking about that, and we'll wrap things up when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Monday on the Morning Huddle, 2 games into the NBA Finals, 2 games into the Stanley Cup Final, and guess what? Mandatory workouts. NFL is upon us. All that, plenty more. Don't be late. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
I told him, I said, if Jesus Christ came and knocked on my door, I would not be more surprised.
Ironically, you don't have to worry about that now, because if Jesus knocked on your door, Turley would run him off.
Thinking he was a homeless person.
Right, he's just a notorious homeless denier.
You and flip-flop man. Homeless denier!
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Vacation mode, check. Don't forget your furry friend. Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuit in Selma offers daycare, boarding, grooming, and more. Discounts for military teachers and first responders. Bluebonnet Bunkin' Biscuit, where pets play, stay, and feel at home.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-880-6363. That's 1-800-880-6363. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-880-6363. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Father's Day kicks off early Saturday, June 14th at Lion and Rose Dominion, hosted by Marissa Gomez, realtor with Real Broker. If you know a dad who deserves some extra love, bring him out for family fun, live music, and delicious food and drinks. Enjoy free experiences like cigar rolling, mini spa treatments, and prize drawings. There's always something special happening at Lion and Rose. It's Saturday, June 14th from 3 to 7 p.m. for the Father's Day kickoff at Lion and Rose, just off I-10 West past the Dominion exit.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. Divorce is tough. It's emotional, challenging, and can upend everything you've worked hard for. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control and protect your financial future. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about protecting what you've built, securing your assets, and ensuring you have the resources to move forward with confidence. You've worked hard for everything you have, and we're here to help safeguard it and avoid unnecessary losses. If you're serious about protecting yourself through the divorce process and securing your future, Barton & Associates is the team you need by your side. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
You know, we may have to change that Metallica music to the Monkees when Minix gets back. I don't know. I mean, he may request that. I'm not sure. But if you haven't heard, obviously Minix is a big Metallica fan, so that's been the I don't know, last segment music since I've started it, and probably beyond.
Way before.
Way beyond. Okay, so it's been there for a long time. But if you haven't heard today, Jason, he got his wish come true today. It was amazing, and the way it sounds, he's been waiting on this picture for a long time. I'm sitting in the office today. I'll keep it short, but I'm sitting in the office today, and Iris, sweet Iris, very nice lady. If you ever come to the radio station, she'll be the first one you see, and that's a good thing because it's a great impression on the radio station. She is super nice, and we like her a lot. And so she brings in. I'm sitting in the office, and she brings in this little package, and she said, "This is for Jason." I said, "Okay, leave it right there." And I didn't think anything else about it until I saw an email from Iris telling Jason that his autographed poster of Mickey Dolenz came in from the Monkees fan club. And so she actually included me on the email because she said, "It's in your office. You better hurry before Joe opens it." And so, because I joked to her, I said, "I'm going to open it." And when she left, and she laughed, and so that's why she sent him that. And so I sent Minix an email, and I said, "Jason, you're a Monkees fan. Who knew? I think that's very sweet." So it's kind of been the thing. And I haven't heard from Jason. I don't know what he's doing today, but obviously he's not listening to the show. But I know there's people that always respond or let him know when I'm making fun of him or joking about him or saying something about him. So I'm sure it's gotten back to him. But I'm just very happy for him. This is, if he's been waiting,
this is huge.
I just don't know how long he's been a member of the Monkees fan club. And obviously he's been waiting for this autographed poster of Mickey Dolenz for a long time. If you don't know who Mickey Dolenz is, he's the drummer for the band the Monkees. I'm assuming they're not together anymore, but their music lives on. It lives on. And so obviously that this picture of Mickey Dolenz, I would assume that's autographed and sent to Jason with love, I'm sure. It will be displayed somewhere here in the studio at some point. Look, the Monkees were huge in the 60s and 70s. They really were. The Beatles were rolling around, so the Monkees weren't that popular. But their lead singer, Davy Jones, was the ladies liked him. He was popular with the ladies at that time, to say the least. So I don't know. I'm just happy for Jason because I know he's happy today, and that he finally got this autographed picture of Mickey Dolenz. So we'll see.
He's apparently been waiting a long time.
Well, according to this email, it's like your autographed poster came in from the Monkees fan club. Finally. And so he's probably been bothering Iris for every day. Is it here yet? Is it here yet? Iris, is it here yet?
He probably just regretted taking today off, knowing
that it might be
I know
here.
It's probably going to show up the day I don't go.
You know what? I wouldn't surprise me, Pledge, that now that he knows it's here, he'll sneak in here this weekend and grab it.
Oh.
Yeah. So a big weekend for Minix.
You think there's like a vinyl in there too?
Maybe.
Like an old Monkees vinyl?
It could be. You never know what's in there with, hey, if you're a member of the Monkees fan club, there's a lot of perks involved in that. All right? I mean, no telling what you get. There might be a drumstick in there. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. It's a flat package. It didn't look like there
maybe
was
brunch with Davy.
Maybe. I don't know. Obviously, he's a Mickey Dolenz fan, or he just is not up to the level in the Monkees fan club to get a Davy Jones autograph yet.
Maybe he's working his way up the ladder. You're saying
he could be. It may start with the drummer and work his way up, but
doesn't it always start with the drummer?
Apparently,
is it
does,
the drummer
yeah.
or the bassist?
Well, our good friend from Kingdom Collapse, who's a bass player. I don't know if Minix thinks much of bass players. Aaron's a good guy. He really is.
I love it.
Bass player for Kingdom Collapse.
He invited me out last weekend, Friday.
Yeah?
Something was happening out at Fitzgerald's.
Oh.
I just didn't get out in time.
Well, why not?
I got to make sure that y'all's stuff gets done.
Aaron didn't call me and ask me to invite me out. I mean, what the hell?
Would you have gone?
I don't know. Are they on tour? Or I guess they're home, huh?
He might have just been at home for the weekend.
Well, it could have
Who
been.
knows?
Because I know that they've been busy.
I never know his schedule. Every time I see him post, he's out somewhere.
But I'm happy for them, man. They've been really busy, and they've been a lot of gigs, and so I'm happy. And they should, man. Their music is great. It really is. It's rock and roll. I guess you still call it rock. I mean, I don't know what genre they are, but I mean,
it's still rock.
Well, it's still rock, right? I don't know if it's rock and roll though, right? Is that if I said that to Aaron, he might laugh at me. I'm not sure, but it's definitely rock, and it's good stuff. I went to a show of theirs, and man, I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. So I'm happy that they're so busy though, and I really want them to make it big. So that way I can always say I know some rock stars.
You just want the free swag.
Well, sure. I already have some free swag from those guys.
Yeah, but like the good stuff, like hey, come see us in New York City,
Madison
opening up
Square
at the Garden.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, I want them to get to the point where
Get you in the green
somebody's opening up for them. That's what I want to see. Where they're the headliners at a big swanky place like that. That would be good. So we'll see what happens. No, I wish those guys all the luck in the world. I really do. But again, congratulate Jason if you happen to talk to him or see him. Congratulate him.
Big day for him.
Yeah, big day for him. He's got to be thrilled that the Mickey Dolenz autograph poster's here. So congratulate him on that, because I know he's probably ear-to-ear smile right now. It probably hasn't gone away all day since he got that email from Iris.
You think he came and got it while we were on air?
I don't know. I'll have to check after the show when I go into the office and see if it's still there or not. I don't know. I'll tell you who else must be grinning from ear to ear. It's every member of the Indiana Pacers. Those guys coming through last night and getting a win in Game 1, which is just incredible when nobody gave them a chance. And quite frankly, watching that game, although after about, I don't know, a few minutes into the third quarter, I'm thinking these guys are hanging around. I got a chance. And, of course, all I'm looking at is the 10-point spread. So when Oklahoma City's got a 13-point lead, I'm going, I'm only 4 points down. So I got a chance. But then as they just keep chipping away and chipping away and chipping away, it was fantastic. Now, I have all the respect in the world for Rick Carlisle. I mean, this guy has been a coach in the NBA for a long time. And he's doing a hell of a job with the Indiana Pacers right now, obviously, because the adjustments he made at halftime were second to none. But after the game, since it is only one game, they've got to win 3 more. He had a message to his team.
We haven't been celebrating a whole lot with anything, really, and that's some of that is our experience last year. So some of it is Pascal having been through, this kind of a run and getting to the finals before. We know we have a lot of work to do, and we have to play a lot better. I mean, 19 turnovers and a half is, if it's not a record for the finals, it's got to be up there, close to it. And they're a menace, defensively. And we too often took it into crowds, and then other times they just take the ball out of your hands. The level of their defense is crazy good. So, but to answer your question, a real even temper after the game, and now there's 2 days between the first 2 games. Instead of a 13-day series, which we had with New York, this is day 1 of 17 days. This is going to be a long journey and a lot going on. And so we're just going to have to keep our eye on the ball and keep focusing on one another.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great message. Don't get too high after a win, too low after a loss in a series like that. That's been preached by coaches forever. And that's what Rick Carlisle's preaching right now. But you got to wonder. Now, obviously, these guys will, and I know how it works because I've been there and I've seen it, that, they'll go to a high school or a college gym to be able to practice. And because obviously OKC will practice at their facility. But probably a little walkthrough today, more of a practice today, walkthrough tomorrow. You might have given them today off. Who knows? Just a rest because they're playing so much basketball. But they'll go through a walkthrough, if nothing else, tomorrow, just to prepare for what they think the changes might be, the adjustments that Oklahoma City will make, if at all. Now, on the other side of the fence, Mark Daigneault, the head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, he was asked a question after last night's game. How do you get over a loss like this?
Well, there's a lot more games left in the series, so we understand that. We got to get ourselves to 0. As we always do, that's a habit that hopefully we've formed. These guys have made a habit of being able to get ourselves centered and play our best game in the next game. So you got to tip your hat to them. They got us tonight. They played really well. They deserve to win. But we got to learn from it. We got to improve like we would if we had won the game and get ourselves ready for game 2. It's really what it comes down to.
That's what it comes down to. And already, just checking on my my betting app, the Oklahoma City Thunder are minus.
Whoa.
Oh, I can't say that.
Can't be doing things like that.
I know. I might beat my wife. Luckily, I won last night, so I have no desire to beat her. So I guess that's okay. I jest, obviously.
Sunday.
My wife would kick my butt.
Sunday, though.
Yes.
Got to be back on edge.
Back on edge. Exactly right. Because there will be some money. I think, man, that line's big, though. That line is big. I could see a scenario where Oklahoma City comes out and just kicks their butt and
but
covers
you can't
any kind
lay
of spread.
11.5.
That's a lot, and I think it'll be higher than that by the time it's tip-off
So
time.
you're taking Indy.
Well, maybe. I haven't decided yet, Pledge. I got some time. I got time. Look, Justin Guerrero said, "Don't beat your wife if you lose a bet." And just so I preface that, so people know that I'm not that kind of guy. I don't do that. When we had that politician on, I don't know, it's been a couple of months, I guess, who's dead set against legalized sports gambling in the state of Texas.
They're in the Dallas area.
Yeah, he said that, guys, they're more likely to beat their wives. And I'm like, dude, I've been betting my whole life, and I've never beat my wife. So I'm not sure that that's factual. Maybe it happens on small occasions. I'm not sure. I don't know. But anyway, that's where that came from. Okay, it's I don't beat. It's kind of like that question. Hey, Pledge, did you stop beating your wife? Yes. No. It's just kind of a weird question. So
Wife?
Justin, just to, well, I know you're not married. That's fine. At least that we know of. I don't know if you did something over the weekend. Let's go to the phone lines real quick because Jacob is waiting there on 656-3776. Jacob, welcome to the Blitz. Close us out, brother.
How's it going, Joseph?
Going well. How are you?
Yeah, I want to make note of, I know you're talking a lot of mess about Oklahoma City and the city in itself, and I think it's a great city, and there's comparables to San Antonio, and I think you should hop on the AJ train and go all in and put all your money on Oklahoma City for winning the finals in 5 games.
Well, AJ's crying because he lost a hell of a lot of money last night. So, I mean, he's in the hole. I'm up.
I know.
So,
I know.
Dude, I wouldn't follow AJ into a buffet line, all right? Let's just get that straight.
That's fair. But hey, Joe, you need to pull for Oklahoma City. I don't know if you've ever been up there, but you were talking a lot of mess about the Riverwalk, and I sure hope you've been there before.
I have been. I've been there a couple of times with the playoffs with the Spurs. So I've been to Oklahoma City a couple of times. So it's a great city, but their Riverwalk it leaves a little to be desired.
It's tailing behind San Antonio, but hey, I appreciate it, Joe, and I hope you put some money on the Thunder this series. So.
Well, I haven't decided.
Go Thunder up.
I will let you know on Monday, win, lose, or draw, my friend. I appreciate the phone call. Obviously, Jacob, an Oklahoma City fan. Maybe he's I don't know, from there originally or something. But glad you got to San Antonio, where the Riverwalk is much better than it is in Oklahoma City. Pledge, you got a show. A whole hour of extra innings with Pledge is coming up. It's coming up. Thank you so much for putting up with us today. We appreciate you listening, and I had a great time today. I really did. I know Pledge did as well. I hope you did as well. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.